Remember, kids, no matter how long the fight takes, villains never win.
You're on camera. Say something.
Last night and night before, there was 3 women walking down the street that way. I saw them. I said, hey, you 3 women, why are y'all walking down the street that way? There's nothing down there. And they flew away. I said, oh, them was some birds.
Could be Trump. Yeah. Trump. Oh yeah. Trump. 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 Could be Trump. Yeah. Trump. Oh yeah. Trump.
Putin's moving to the RGB. Putin's moving to the RGB. Get your Memphis. Putin's moving to the RGB. Putin's moving to the RGB. From the tundra to the sea. Gamey future. You will see. Sparks of flying. Joy will stay. Join the glory. RGB. Putin's going to the RGB. Putin's going to the RGB. Get your Memphis. Putin's going to the RGB. Feel the power. Press start today.
It's time to level up. Get that firepower. We taking it all. Yeah. Boots on the ground. I'm running this race. Rick Buster with the knuckles. No time to waste. Through the mushroom fields where the wild things grow. Jumping higher than the clouds. Let the energy flow. Never fold. Never break. Every step I take, I make the ground quake. Big shell creeping. He's the king of the crawl. But I'm built for the heat. I'm taking it all. Keep pushing through the hills, never back, never fall. It's a battle every step, but I'm taking it all. Fire in my soul, yeah, I'm breaking the walls. No matter what it takes, I'm saving it all. Mounting battle max. Mounting battle max. Mounting battle max.
Face every challenge, climb every wall. Catch your breath, but never let it fall. Power and honor light up your way. Legends are born today. Run to the light, fight for the glory. Show them your might, write your own story. Run to the light, fight for the glory. This is the heart of the arena.
Mounting battle max. Mounting battle max. Mounting battle max.
We're just here to game, baby, chill and relax. But watch your words or they'll hit you with the axe. Talk about potatoes, pizza, maybe pie, but not that square in the middle of July. The Great Firewall is always on patrol. They're reading your chats, they're in control. Say T-word once and you're out of the room. Like a digital ninja. Boom, boom, boom. You can talk about wars in France or the mess in the USA, but say one thing about Beijing and your game account go bye-bye. Hey, no, 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 you can't say that. Talk about the party, you'll fall flat. History's a mystery, just move along. Stick to safe topics or you'll be gone.
Mama, we must try. The Wendigo Yakuza are here.
We'll be okay. We're not alone.
Where did we park the van?
Cider took it to deliver those flowers.
You all don't stand a chance.
Underneath the moon's cold light, whispers linger in the night. Shadows dance with subtle grace. Secrets hide in every space. Velvet skies and sapphire dreams. Cities pulse, electric beams. Lonely hearts in shadowed bars. Fading tales beneath the stars. We dance in twilight's tender glow, where time moves soft and slow. Eyes meet in a silent song, in the night where we belong.
Hello and welcome to another show where we do things and talk about stuff. And here to help me talk about stuff is the lovely Miss Nerdigans.
Hi, Blackshirt Army Insider.
Hi. You are popping a little bit with that.
Oh,
so
I am?
let me know too, because we're the mic. We got good.
There
We have great mic trouble here. Very great mic trouble. But
we are in the struggle bus of mic issues. Apparently.
One day, yeah, 2025, the year of mic issues here on Bounding into Comics. However, when we do get around to finally having a Bounding into Comics meetup, I would like to do the video game fight remakes. Watch this.
How do I fight? You win.
You win. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Sonic Boom. Yeah, exactly. We need to do fight game reenactments when we eventually get around to having Bounding meetups, because that was cool. I don't care who you are. That was cool. Those two guys are really into it and I love it. So it's great stuff. It's we do have a lot to talk about this evening. As the title says, we're talking about Ubisoft and the abuse that went on with their partner studio, and how they're just kind of like, wow, that sucks for you guys. Good luck though. And that's it. That they just kind of like, that's your problem. Good luck over there in Indonesia.
Someone told me that they spotted another cultural appropriation situation in Assassin's Creed Shadows involving the Buddha statue, one of the Buddha statues in Tenaji Temple, I think it was. So yeah, you got that happening. And for those of you that don't understand, or you should follow me on Twitter anyway. But someone sent this to me, and they said that you have to ask permission to use the statue and the lamp, I believe, from lantern from Tanaji Temple.
Oh yes, the lantern. Yep, that's
Yeah,
definitely it. Yeah, we found that out during. That got started when they stole Zoro's sword. I have to remember because I'm stuck on the 4 kids named Zolo, and it's not Zolo. Okay, it's Zoro. Okay, but I get stuck on it because it sounds like YOLO in my mind.
Yeah.
So Yayo Zolo. Get it? You know, I'm just 4 kids ruined One Piece for me, dude. It ruined One Piece for me.
Well, Viz hasn't ruined One Piece yet. Just thank God for the actual pirates that are saving life. And speaking of
the actual pirates,
well, piracy is destroying Crunchyroll, and it destroyed Disney Plus not too long ago either. Back in October, I think it was, in November is what the chart said. But yeah, it's High Anime, which is the world's largest piracy site, is getting 3 times the amount of views that Crunchyroll is getting. That is sad.
Wow. I didn't. So Crunchyroll is like advertised everywhere. If you don't know, guys, like anywhere you'll find anybody, really anybody, there's a Crunchyroll advertisement. It's ridiculous. You really can't go anywhere without seeing it. It's like QR coded at Walmart. It's ridiculous. So that's stunning that a pirate site is pulling up more clicks than that being like smattered all over the place. Like I defy you to go anywhere in the world and not find one of those logos plastered somewhere.
Well, the reason being is that the interface is ass and the video player sucks. And then they're raising costs, and there's like not enough I want to say before Funimation took over, and we'll get to Crunchyroll Manga in a minute, there was actual reasons to subscribe to Crunchyroll. They also, whether it was a free subscription or paid subscription, because they had simulpubs for free, you had simulcast for free, with ads, of course. And that's what people want. They want to watch, they just want to watch simulcast and read simulpubs of manga for free or ad supported in this case. But yeah, Crunchyroll used to have a lot more benefits for their memberships. If you're part of the old guard, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just a shame. Really, it is. Perini ran Funimation into the ground, and they're running Crunchyroll into the ground too. It's just unbelievable that they're even thinking about, or that they are going to revive Crunchyroll Manga after all the fuckery that went down.
Well, you know, here to hear all about it, though, is we have first in the chat, we have Sammy Threepeat here. And we have Melly Mac and John Trent, woke right extraordinaire. I think that's a law office. So what are the woke right doing now? I don't know, clipping their toenails, maybe?
Well, Matt Walsh is attacking Sonic.
Oh, of course, because a blue hedgehog will lead you to hell. All right, that makes sense. So anyway, you're a little bit crunchy, unfortunately. Yeah. Ubisoft is going out swinging at its own employees, says RJ McReady, and that is more true than I'd like to admit. That's pretty rough. I'm not going to show you guys what was done to this employee. I'm just going to let you know where you can find the video, because I don't think we can show it on YouTube.
No, I don't think so.
Live anyway. Somebody posted it as a video, but I don't think we can show it live. It's rough. Leslie Tarkin says, "Hail to all you lovely people, and hail to you, Leslie Tarkin. Welcome to 2025. We have Henry Thrun here saying, "Hail to you. Welcome aboard." We have Kevin Grajeda.
Yeah.
I think I said that right.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, guys. Yeah, good afternoon to you too. Not quite deep in the evening yet. We have Yi Ching Lao here, and he says, "Hi, guys. Well, hello. How are you? Glad to have you. Who in their right mind would want to pirate Disney Plus content?" Well,
Disney Plus has anime, so that's why people are pirating. It's global, but it's Hulu here. But still, like
that's gotta hurt, right? That's gotta hurt. You gotta have, like, Bob Iger's looking at that. He's like, really? It's only the anime, not She-Hulk, not Loki. They're not trying. It's just the anime, huh? Oh man.
It's primarily. Well, it's also a lot of it's the old cartoons that Disney refuses to put on Disney Plus for some reason. It's weird. I don't know why they just don't do it. I don't think those are on high anime in particular, but yeah, that's a lot of people wanted Disney Plus to watch like the old school cartoons that were on Toon Disney, for example, and it's not on Disney Plus. So what's the point?
Well, we've got Cornbread Man here. Nice to see you. Welcome aboard. And Melanie Mack and John Trent Woke Right Extraordinaire replies with, I rename my account whenever a person or group picks me off. Okay, well, hey, man, that keeps you relevant, right? People know what you're about.
Yep.
Yeah, Matt Walsh, what is a hedgehog? Well, I think I'm going to skip on that one and maybe check out the Ghost of Tsushima anime that is being written by the Fate Zero guy. How about
that? It's crazy. It's really awesome that we're getting a Ghost of Tsushima anime. It was about time for it to come, and this is part of Sony's expansion to for their IPs. Like there was Horizon. I'm surprised Horizon Zero Dawn isn't getting an anime. Of all the things, you have
to understand, Herman Holtz hates Japanese people. He flatly hates Japan. Like he's repulsed by that island. So he's just, that's why he wants a live action movie. And we'll talk about that too. Don't worry, guys. We'll
get to that probably in 01.
Yep.
But yeah, the anime, I am somewhat confident in it because you do have the Ninja Batman animation director. Not the director, animation director. And you also have the studio behind Ninja Batman working on it. So it'll be interesting to see if they go into CGI, like all or majority CGI direction or not. Because if it does go that route, it might be a little clunky. But that they are working with Aniplex. And the other thing is that it is a Crunchyroll co-produced thing too. So Crunchyroll has co-produced Solo Leveling, Tower of God, and the God of High School, and also, of course, the whole thing with High Guardian Spice. But those are the main three that I could think of off the top of my head.
We do have a question in the chat from Melanie Mack and John Trent, Woke Right Extraordinaire, asks, do you think Sony is rethinking some of their policies? No. They have clearly learned nothing from Concord, because when Herman Holtz came out about a month ago to talk about more about that, he got asked about it during an interview, and he was like, yeah, no, we just didn't push it hard enough. That's what he admitted. He was just like, we didn't think about it long enough, is what he said. We didn't think about it long enough. We didn't push the product far enough, is what his complaint was. So they're going to try it again. They're going to try something else that's going to go even further than Concord did, guys. No, they're not going to change a damn thing.
Well, the thing that I do want to point out that I think is funny from Perini's statement, who's, the Funimation CEO turned Crunchyroll president, he said that, what was it? This project is a testament to the creative synergy within the Sony family. It's not, I don't believe that for a minute. What creative synergy are you talking about, dude? So
the lame kind.
It's uniting the expertise of PlayStation Studios, PlayStation Productions, the creative team of Sucker Punch Productions and Aniplex, and Sony Music's iconic global artist roster. So this will probably have a banging soundtrack, because Sony Music is part
So one thing they get right. So one thing they seem to get right is the music in these.
Yeah. And then Perini says this, in Crunchyroll's fan-first global marketing and distribution footprint. What are you talking about, dude? You do not care about the fans. You don't. You've made it clear you don't care about the fans.
Well, and he was telling us too that he didn't want to put this stuff in movie halls, right? He didn't want.
Yeah, he didn't want to do theatrical releases. And you could have done I don't know how many episodes this is going to be, but you could have done like a Ghost of Tsushima anime movie.
Well, just sit with me on this one, right? Just come here on the bench of rationality, all right? Pull up a corner. That video of the football stadium full of Mexican, South American fellows that are watching Goku transform into Ultra Instinct for the first time?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Why didn't Perini do that? Why wasn't Perini like, it's a Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War episode 1, 2, 3 here at the Texas Super Bowl? I don't know what it's called. I don't football. I'm sorry. I don't.
Super Bowl is correct. But I mean, we had the first 3 episodes of Dragon Ball Daima and dub, and in theaters. We didn't get that for Bleach at all. That would have been nice to have for Bleach. But at the same time, I know you say that, Crunchyroll's marketed everywhere. Crunchyroll not marketing their theatrical releases at all.
No, not those. No, but you find when I was getting around more, My Hero Academia through Crunchyroll was everywhere I went.
Crunchyroll used to be advertised everywhere. This was before the Funimation takeover. They were constantly advertising on YouTube. They were constantly advertising on Twitter and Facebook. But then after the takeover, almost nothing. They're relying on media outlets to do their marketing for them. It's like, dude, that's not enough. It isn't.
Well, we do have something that probably kind of sells itself, but here is Yiching Lao asking, wasn't there an anime movie about Batman that's fighting against the Yakuza League? Yeah, and that's what's interesting right now. I don't know what's going to happen with it because the success of Marvel Rivals has definitely caught the eye of Warner Brothers, and especially with Kill the Justice League going out. So like a fart in the wind, if you will. So they might move on this. They might move and say, we're going to create Mortal Kombat, like a Mortal Kombat thing out of this Batman versus the Yakuza.
If you've seen the Yakuza designs, they look so good. The women look really sexy.
Yeah.
So it's like, and
they look like women, even Wonder
Woman. Yeah. And even the males, even the male heroes and villains, they look really good. That's what
Superman
people want.
Hasn't been revealed yet, right?
No.
I don't remember him.
Superman hasn't been revealed. Wonder Woman has, Green Lantern. We have a female Green Lantern, and she looks hot.
I have my fingers crossed that we have a magic tattooed Superman, because that's the only way to do it other than kryptonite is to magic tattoo him, and then he has his hair slicked back like the main Yakuza character with but wait with the yellow sunglasses from No More Heroes. Remember that, the hero from No More Heroes? That would be like ultimate, like Easter egg everywhere, all of the Easter eggs. So that would be neat. But again, we don't know. I don't even know if Dr. Fate would be part of this. That's a really neat, like, surprise entry into this, as if Dr. Fate takes up Batman's cause, and then you have like the monk and the ninja working together. That's pretty cool.
Sick. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, this director for Ghost of Tsushima Legends is, I believe, he's the animation director for that too. So if that goes well, animation wise, we'll see it. But yeah, Sony just had Funimation use Crunchyroll as a skin suit, pretty much based on what the employees are saying. Oh yeah, it's mostly Funimation that's running the show here. The original Crunchyroll employees, like the president and stuff like that, they left. They left afterwards. So yeah, it's not surprising. And in regards to Crunchyroll Manga, it's just unbelievable because that program originally started in 2013. And they had it was an add-on. You could have it was an add-on for premium members, but like if you were just reading simulpubs, you could be a free member too, and you had access to some of the library as well. And it was part of the Kodansha simulpub program.
Whoop. Is it moving around there or
no? It's not.
Okay, but it popped the click there. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. But yeah, Crunchyroll had it was part of the Kodansha Simulpub program, and then like around 2018 is when Kodansha started pulling titles slowly but surely, and then obviously we covered the Unbounding in 2023. Kodansha terminated the Simulpub program in favor of their own app, K-Manga, and that
didn't go well.
K-Manga is actually doing okay. There's a lot of good series on there. I know once it hits global, it'll be a little bit better. I still wish it was more like Jump Plus or Manga Plus, where you get to read like the first where you kind of do get the first 3 chapters free. You do get that, but I'm talking about like having the Simulpub free, because that was the reason why I like Crunchyroll Manga so much, was because I could read the Simulpub chapter for free. The reader was okay. But like just having like UQ Holder and there were 7 Deadly Sins and 4 Nights of the Apocalypse simulpubs on there. There was Card Captors Card Captor Sakura Clear Card Arc was on there. But and if I didn't say it already, UQ Holder was on there. Attack on Titan was on there. The Attack on Titan simulpubs were on there. So yeah, there was a lot, and also that time I got reincarnated as a slime, drifting dragons. There was a lot of titles on there.
We also have an announcement about an Isekai fighting game. So
yeah, we do. But here, I do want to mention this real quick. What Perini said about this, because I thought it was very interesting. He said that Crunchyroll Manga, this is despite everything that's happened and all the apps that have come out recently, that Crunchyroll Manga will be a premier online app that carries catalogs from renowned publishers, which we do not know who yet. There was more than just Kodansha on the original Crunchyroll Manga app as well, offering fans unparalleled access to the visionary works that inspire the anime we love. And it will not only meet the growing interest, but also fuel the continue global popularity of anime and manga alike. And Crunchyroll Manga will not only meet this growing interest, but also fuel the continued global popularity of anime and manga alike. I call BS on it because you already have other apps that are doing it, and they're doing it better.
Whoa. Can we have you straighten out the cord? Sorry.
Okay. But yeah, it's...
Not quite. Not quite. Gotta keep friggin' with it. Sorry.
It's okay. Is that better?
Yes, there we go.
Okay. But yeah, it's the other thing is that they're not Crunchyroll used to offer a just a manga subscription. So if you didn't want to access the anime and just wanted to read manga on Crunchyroll's app, Crunchyroll's manga app, they had like a $4.95 a month plan for you, which was nice to have, especially when you had simulpubs. Now that there's no simulpub program, because Kodansha is, they're not going back to Crunchyroll. No fucking way. After what happened, they're not going back. I don't know what publishers they're talking about. Like, I don't think they're going to get simulpubs. I think it's just going to be something similar to what we see with like Azuki. The Azuki app, which was also part of the simulpub program, which is just having a library of completed series. It's not going to have the simulpubs. I doubt they will have it.
So we have Melanie Mack and John Trent, woke right extraordinary. Nerdigans, I'm just going to mute you for a second here while that crashes. I don't know what's going on with that, but just for a second here. And just what is Sony going to get, considering most publishers, even Kadokawa, have their own manga apps? Now, ordinarily, I would tell you, how are we doing? How's that?
Is that better?
Yeah, that's way better. Thank you. Thank you so much. So a week ago, I would have told you that they were shooting for picking up the indie manga scene because of the success that Shueisha has been seeing with their Creator Plus program. However, this week, after seeing the massive announcements that they're making into live action with Helldivers and Horizon Zero Dawn, with Sony at the helm, everybody and their brother knows that that's going to nosedive. So I think what they're trying to do here is just simply pick up anybody to create an app. So if you make manga in Japan, congratulations, you're going to be on the Crunchyroll app, because they need something. They know these are going to belly flop. But the only thing I can think of is Herman Holtz is like, I got my Lego Horizon game. Now I got to have my Horizon live action movie. And that's the only thing I could figure, because there is nobody in the universe that wants a live action Horizon Zero. I love the game. I love the cutscenes.
An anime would be fantastic.
Exactly. That's not a live action. No. An anime would be great. You're absolutely right. An OVA, a simple 1 hour thing would be fantastic. Even more like that Star Wars, whatever that one was.
Star Wars Visions?
Yeah, the Star Wars Visions one, that would be great for them, where they followed Aloy and she visited different clans for an hour, and they just did random clan things as opposed to having a big bad they had to beat, and you just saw how life was. Yeah. But whatever, screw it. We're just going to do live action, and we're going to find somebody totally like, oh boy, she's a redhead. This doesn't look good, guys. I don't know. She's Herman Holtz's daughter, like he created that character. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but I don't know any famous redheads right now that could play Aloy. I don't know any. I don't think there are any.
Not right now.
It's like Scarlett Johansson is way beyond the realm.
Yeah.
So.
Same with Nicole Kidman. She's way too old now.
Yep.
A younger Nicole Kidman would be fantastic though for Alloy.
Yep. Well, you know.
Anymore, but.
And speaking of interesting concepts, right? We do have a mobile game that's coming out that features the Isekai heroes in a versus style game. Kind of, I would assume it's going to look more like Naruto Ninja Storm, kind of more
like a Jump
anime-y.
Stars.
Yeah, it'll look more anime-y than 3D. I think is the effect that they're going to go for.
I really hope so. If it's anything like J-Stars on the DS, I would say that would make the most sense. I love if you've never played J-Stars on the DS, it's so much fun. So basically it's a game with all the different Shonen Jump characters coming together, and it's like a Super Smash Brothers kind of thing. And there's even a story mode too. It's really good. It just depends on the roster of characters they have and the diversity. And it looks like we're getting a good diverse, Kitty, do not step on the cord, diverse amount of series with Mushoku Tensei. That time I got reincarnated by a slime, SAO, Shangri-La Frontier. I doubt they're going to have the awesome mecha that we've been seeing in Shangri-La Frontier manga, though. Oh my god, that mecha is so sick. It was some Sentai realness that we were getting in Shangri-La Frontier recently, but I doubt we're getting that.
Okay, so Spencer, whoever this person is in the chat, says to switch your audio input. Yeah.
Okay, let me.
So we tried. We'll hook her up with another microphone. It'll only take a couple days to get one out to her. But we move. We were on the move here, you know.
Yeah. There we go. That should be better.
Yeah, that's less crunchy.
Yeah.
But,
I just have to get a wireless the next time. Get a wireless mic. Well,
yeah.
They haven't sent me this mic, so.
Yep, we'll take care of it. So we'll make sure it works right and it's wireless, and we don't have to worry about any static kitty paw prints giving it trouble. But anyway,
hi, kitty.
We do have the protagonist from That Time I Was Turned Into a Slime. He will be in this as well. So if you're looking forward to absurd characters and what they can do, he will be part of this as well. So, I would honestly expect the Sword Art Online character to be one of those random fourth wall breaking characters like Deadpool. Maybe not as funny, but having that kind of interaction with
that would be Sunraku. That would be like that Deadpool-esque.
Oh, character. Okay. Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Is way off the cuff, and he's amazing. I'm telling you, Shangri-La Frontier is what SAO wishes it was.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, you don't have like those.
That's high praise.
And like all like that. Nah, it's just straight gaming. It's really good. And the art in the manga is fantastic. Oh my god, it's breathtaking.
Well, I mean, as I said, it's a mobile game, so
you're not going to get that. You're probably going to get some, as I said, it'll probably be something similar to J-Stars for the DS. That'd be my guess.
Right. And again, I think that's a good step in the right direction for what they're aiming to do here, because as I keep telling people about this, having super fancy graphics and super wide open world, we saw this with Sonic Frontiers, having a wide open world isn't always great. And this right here says, no, we're going to stick to the very simple basics of what works. We're going to show you these characters. They're going to have so many abilities they can use against each other. They'll be balanced against one another, but we're not going to try and blow your mind with this game. That's the vibe I get out of this, is it's going to try and do everything that works and nothing that doesn't. There's no experimentation here. And that's what I appreciate about this decision to make this game. I'm not a fan of Isekai. I'm really not. I don't hate it. It's just one of those things like, okay, Dot Hack was like my one and done for Isekai. Dot Hack was my one and done. And, but I think this is very smart. It's very smart to do what works and not what doesn't. Don't experiment. Don't reinvent the Isekai wheel.
I think it's funny how Shangri-La Frontier and SAO is kind of considered Isekai when they're just virtual reality games. I just kind of think that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's one of those I would say opportunities to like do like a random throw in,
Well, they could probably put the Suicide Squad Isekai characters in there too if they wanted to.
Now, see, I wasn't thinking on that line, but that's also a really, really solid idea to have them as like the season 2 characters,
or something like that.
Yeah, the DLC characters, that you have to fight them. And now that what I was thinking about though is like in Japan, I'm sure like here in the US, there are debates over what is and isn't an isekai. So you get up and you start talking about like the Red Ranger. That's right, the Red Ranger should be in this.
Yeah, especially with the anime coming out this week. For it,
hit the wrong button. Sorry about that.
It's okay, but yeah, I'm excited for it. That's going to be really, really good. I checked the production team out, and the production team, because this is how I'm starting to like really figure out if an anime adaptation is going to be good based on the production team, like right off the bat. And it's been spot on for like several series that I've done guides for. But for the Red Ranger Isekai, it's going to either be hit or miss based on the animation, because the animation studio is not the best. But it's not JC staff. Let's go with that. So hopefully it's good. But yeah, it looks really nice.
From what our previews have seen, which I assume is episode 1, and usually episode 1's pretty polished.
Yeah,
but
that would be episode 1.
From what we see from these previews here is that the energy's right, and like Shin-chan is not well drawn. It's not well animated, but it is entertaining because the spirit of the character is throughout the entire show. And I get this right here with this, is that the Red Ranger Isekai is not going to be, oh no, I logged into a computer and now I can't get out. It's going to revolve around Super Sentai breaking the fantasy world.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm really glad that they make that decision. I'm very tired of characters knowing their way around in there, and I'm excited to see a character that doesn't belong here breaking it. That's the good twist.
But the thing I don't like in this anime, I don't like how Kazuna Red Suit looks. It just does not have the line work and the shading and the extra detailing that it has in the manga. And Spencer definitely should know this. The mecha looks okay. I'm not too mad at it, but yeah, the suit just is not doing it for me. There's just lots of details missing. And
I think what the problem is chiefly that these two companies
CGI too.
Well, I'm a Gundam guy, so I kind of got over that a while ago. But the situation is with this is that the suit, I think, is deliberately changed from the manga in order to avoid issues with Gozuger. Gozuger has a red wolf lead character and has a very stylized helmet. And so I think this is why they leaned him into a bit more of general tokusatsu than Super Sentai as hard as they could have, because he would probably look pretty damn close to Gozuger Red.
Well, the problem is that later on, or in the most recent chapters of the manga, you get to see like multiverse, like almost like a Forever Red kind of situation, almost like that, but something akin to it. So it's just like, and one of them is like an actor. He's breaking the fourth wall completely. So it's like doing that is kind of, it's understandable, but at the same time, it kind of ruins some of the twists a little bit later. But I do.
So this is
this looks better than like when I say this looks as good as Ranger Rejects art animation. Especially in terms of the suits. No, the suits in Ranger Rejects anime looks better. The writing is very questionable because they skipped a lot of content, but the suits look really good in Ranger Rejects anime. Here, the suit just looks okay. It's giving me like maybe above the bare minimum.
So let me show you this. This is Gozuger Red. This is the 2025 Super Sentai.
Yeah, that's probably why, one of the many reasons why they decided to not do as much shading to an extent, but it's still a lot more shading, and he looks a little bit more muscular. That's the other wording I was looking for. Muscular. He looks a lot more muscular in the manga than he does in the anime. He in terms of when he's in the suit. When he's not in the suit, he looks fine in the anime, but when he's in the suit, he looks a little bit more muscular and a little bit more intimidating. So that's where I'm having an issue.
Yeah. So that's the more full size suit. So I see where like they did a little bit like you know, they were a little careful, I think, with the interpretation of
Kizuna Red.
Kazuna Red, yeah, because this is again another wolf styled Red Ranger, and so I think they were careful because again, Sentai has more power in this realm. Toei has more power over this, so it definitely feels like they were like, yeah, we want to make sure that we strike a very, very clear difference between the 2025 Sentai and our Isekai. So, Sentai have gone full anime in the past decade. No tokusatsu as a whole now, full circle. Sometimes, I feel like the saving people's lives aspect of Super Sentai has fallen away, much like it fell away with Power Rangers. They just kind of got stuck in the monster is here, must defeat it and sell toys cycle. So hopefully this one's going to change that. This one is written and I believe directed by the daughter of the guy behind Dawn Brothers. And Dawn Brothers was regarded as like a very experimental one. That's one that had all the 3D characters and the one that looked like Sonic running around. Mm-hmm. Like a Sonic character rather. That one was pretty well received in Japan because again, it was different and it acknowledged that. It didn't try to be taken seriously. It was very jokey, lighthearted about itself. And it had its good moments, right? Because Sentai does that. But she has vowed to make this the #1 Sentai in all of Sentai history. Now, it is not taken lightly. She's working with the people that have been doing this since the beginning, and this is the last Super Sentai. This is 49. This is the 49th Super Sentai before we get the 50th next year. So this is it's a big deal, and so I think that she's going to do it. May not be alone, obviously, but I think she's going to do it. So I don't think we're going to get so much anime out of this as the grand adventure of a Super Sentai team. As for saving people's lives, I'm not sure. That again, I think that's completely fallen away from the franchise. Tamaka Heroes tried it, and even they got bored of it and decided they wanted to fight CGI monsters too. So we have Kamen Rider. Again, Kamen Rider isn't really engaged in saving people's lives anymore either. It's more engaged in kicking the ass of other riders. Most of the time, the rider's just beating the ass off another rider. Right now, that's what's happening with Kamen Rider Gav. They got a guy that looks like Pudding running around beating the ass off the heroes, and that's what they do, Oh, well. But if any franchise must survive, they have to sell merchandise. Well, that's what we found out with Power Rangers. Mm-hmm. They died right off because they stopped creating content for children. They started engaging. Well, they were creating content for children, but they were creating content for children that was marketed toward their parents, and that was bad. That was bad. Now, everybody's got their opinion about what the best Super Sentai is. We don't have time for that tonight. I'll let you have Flashbang, okay? It's pretty good. It's a good choice. It's the 49th season, but they are counting it as a 50th. Oh, right, because of Lupin. Oh, that's right, because they're two separate teams. Why didn't they make them one at the end of it? Like they did that with the Thunder Brothers.
That's weird.
It is a bizarre decision that they've been going lately, and some of it feels like they're simply reacting to the environment of like, we've got to do something different with Super Sentai or we're all out of ideas, guys. And so again, Dawn Brothers was fun, but I'm glad they didn't keep to the trend. And of course, as you saw with King Osier, they were like, CGI everything. Everything's CGI. Even the ground is CGI. The water is CGI. The bugs are CGI.
You do a CGI anime and have it work, but you got to have, from what I've learned, especially through watching Studio Orange's anime and also asking them about this, is that they, for combat series, for Hoseki no Kuni, for example, they use rotoscope. And that's how you get the fluid combat animation in Hoseki no Kuni. And then for some of the other things like the grass and the texture of some of the fur on the creatures, they had to go in with hand-drawn animation. So like you could do it all CGI anime, yeah, but you got to have like at least some, if you want to have texture, just have a little bit of hand drawn in there. It's expensive, but it's if you want to get like the full effect that it feels full immersion into the world, then that's the way more animes need to go, especially if they're going an all CGI route. And I'm looking at you too, Bleach, because you tried to do this stuff this season, and I think they said they're going to go more all in on CGI, and oh God, I worry about Kenpachi's Bankai. I'm not going to lie.
Well, they've done okay with it. Like if you recall, Susanoo was the Madara's. He summoned Susanoo, and when they did, like when he's like had the 100 of them, remember he made that big army of them. A lot of them, most of them, I think all of them were CGI, and it looked okay. It wasn't awful, but that was like close to 20 years now. So I can't imagine it doesn't look much better because anime is not meant to be done like that. But with the flat loss of people, just lack of people to do the job, I don't blame them for doing more CGI. And Yiching Lao's asking everything CGI, and it's like, well, yeah, King Osier was what they did. They created a completely CGI environment, save for a few walls and a chair that the actor would interact with, but the environment largely was CGI in that entire program. And while that was, save for a couple episodes, but they really leaned into that to give it the fantastical element and to allow them to create very expansive and dynamic sets, but at the cost of looking like it belonged on anything human. But this is what's going to happen with anime. Likewise, with Sentai having to cut corners on sets, to do the more experimental, expansive sort of stuff they wanted to do with King Osier. This is what you're going to end up seeing with anime as they continue to push beyond, I would say slice of life anime would be something that's fairly easy to animate. Not that it's easy. Don't get me wrong, but I would say that it's easier to animate than Kenpachi's Bankai.
Yeah.
And it's easier to animate than a Gundam, so that that's probably why we see more of those being done, mostly hand-drawn, as opposed to the action anime, because, and this is weird, don't get me wrong, I don't know why they're spending so much time on like the characters walking around and talking and not using CGI to do that stuff. And instead, like really going in on the drawn part for the action thing, and it's the opposite. They do the CGI for the action. It's bizarre. It's even shorter than the rest of it. So I'm like, what of all the things to put your manpower into?
But as I said, I think the thing that a lot of these anime are missing, and especially in terms of combat, it's like, dude, just use rotoscope. There's no excuse. Hoseki no Kuni was Studio Orange's first anime, and that was in 2017, and they had a very small budget compared to like most anime nowadays, and they were able to pull off the fluidity of the movement, whether it was fighting or running, and it was beautiful. Oh, that anime is so beautiful. If you've not watched Hoseki no Kuni's anime adaptation, it is stunning. The manga is really good. It's the ending of the anime. I do not like how they ended the anime though. That really frustrated me.
Richard in the chat says, not sure what's meant by CGI. Was a term for CAD-like programs and the like. CGI, if you're not familiar, here in the US, we use CGI for computer-generated images.
Yes.
And that's meant to be a catch-all for all of the computer graphics that are used, be they still images or video, whatever is not a picture of a real person made to move. Take for Jurassic Park, for instance. This is what we define CGI. It looks realistic, it moves, it sounds realistic, but it is computer generated front to back until they start interacting with the animatronics. And that's the difference.
It's the same thing with Sonic too, if you think about it. Sonic did the same thing.
Timon, a Meteor Herald, says Tokusatsu Origins was already low cost. Well, and the thing is that actors in Japan are starting to cost more money because, as like everything else, there's less and less of them. And so we see now that a lot of the Super Sentai that come out now want to recycle the actors over and over again in their original roles. So you see these past Super Sentai heroes returning in these series, and it's very reminiscent of we can't find that many new actors for this, so we're going to wrap it around people that we have. So we're going to have these constant kind of soft anniversary series where a bunch of past heroes come back and for an episode or two hang out with the new guys. And it works. It works. The adults are like, oh, I remember that guy. He's still alive. They're doing that. And the kids are like, wow, this character's cool. I didn't know that the superheroes were this way. And now I don't think Zoids was.
No, I think Gundam wasn't it? In terms of anime? Because in terms of cartoons, we know it was back in the Pixar. Pixar used it for Toy Story. But we're not talking about cartoons. We're talking about anime.
Whatever Golgo 13 is, use CGI for the first time.
Oh, Golgo 13 is the anime.
Go 1983 was when that came out.
I didn't know it used CGI back then.
Golgo 13.
Yeah, that's like the that has the most chapters of any manga in history.
That's saying something because One Piece is right up there.
Nah, One Piece ain't up there with Hajime no Ippo yet. Hajime no Ippo has over 1,400 chapters. It's getting close to 1,500.
So this is the Golgo 13 poster manga cover. So there you go. So Timon, they are back at 40. This one is they've been doing this recently since Rhea Soldier. The episodes are limited to the series number. So this is the 49th Sentai, so we'll only have 49 episodes. Bunbunjur ends with 48. Oh god, I don't remember what came before. King Osier had 47, and they've been trying to kind of play this up with that. One Piece is low, and it's daunting to a guy that came up with comics on my end, right? Because I'm up in Maine. I wasn't exposed to a lot of stuff. I had Shonen Jump, and so I didn't. One Piece was a really, really big story to my little Shonen Jump brain. Okay, so what? 1,960 chapters.
I think Golgo 13 is like at over 3,000, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong.
How many? How? That's 3,000. If there's a chapter a week, that's 3,000 weeks. Is that enough weeks? I can't. That's too many weeks. How many weeks is 3,000 weeks? How many years? Sorry, how many years? Man, I'm on it tonight. That is 57 years.
Yeah, this manga has been going on for a really long time.
So this guy is like in his 70s making this?
The author just died last year or a couple years ago, I think it was. And then his family, I don't remember if his daughter is doing a spinoff. But I know that there are still spinoffs of Golgo 13.
Oh, Golgo only has 587. So maybe
that's 587 chapters that are available in like English, but Golgo 13 has is the longest running manga right now. But I just can't remember how many chapters it is.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a lot of manga. That's a lot of story of that. But it's a good thing that we have Manga Library Z coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I forget, as of October 2024, there's 214 volumes of the Tankobon edition that have been published, while the Bunkoban edition has 173 volumes, and it's been going since 1968.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Incredible.
So, yeah. Well, like I said, it's dedication, that's for sure. But if you want to check out those chapters, apparently Manga Library Z is returning through crowdfunding, so you might be able to catch up on them through that.
I don't know if they'll have Golgo 13 on there. They mostly have. They do have classic manga, but I don't know I don't remember if Golgo 13 was on there, and I don't remember if I don't know if Manga Z has that many translated titles, but what Manga Z is doing, I think, is incredible. That they're doing crowdfunding to get back online after what happened with the credit card companies. So,
yeah. Well, YouTube Me points out that no, wait. Who's pointing? Oh, no, there he is. Sorry, Spencer. It's not YouTube Me. Sorry. Scrolling the chat too fast. Sorry.
Unlicensed and abandoned series. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he unlicensed it. Okay, sorry, my bad. So you probably won't catch up on that one. But from the time period when Go 13 got started, there'll definitely be a collection on Manga Z's, hopefully, revitalized platform. So
like that's a platform that needs to be revitalized. Crunchyroll Manga does not need to be revitalized because they do not care about. They've never cared about manga fans. Well, at least until like I said something in 2019.
Okay, so they haven't launched a crowdfunding campaign yet.
They're planning to.
Okay, so now that's curious. Hopefully they make it worldwide so that people in the West and the Middle East can also invest into it, because that would be a lot more helpful to their cause to be able to have the world pitching in, because I don't know, maybe you can give them enough money then to be able to sustain themselves and not have to worry about this crazy thing. But the Japanese seek efficiency, so maybe they're just looking for fund Manga Library Z for 2 years, and then they'll come back at another 2 years and seek another round of funding.
To wait and see in regards to that. It just sucks that the credit card companies are being so stupid about it.
I'm not surprised. Like, we've seen China cut down on this stuff, and what do you think the credit card companies are going to do in response to that? You see Australia cut down on this stuff, so guess what's going to happen,
Well, China's targeting, they did a raid and targeted yaoi artists in China. So they're cracking down because yaoi and yuri are extremely popular in China. But yeah, they arrested like over 50 fan fiction authors.
That's awkward. They're very popular, huh? That's really weird. I would not have expected that.
They were the ones that were pissed off about Lycolis Recoil not having a Yuri ending. They were furious. A lot of it was coming from China.
I would never have expected that. What a bizarre. Anyway, so here you have it. Chinese censors have arrested over 50 fan fiction authors in a crackdown on adult content. Now, as Nerdigan specified, this is Yuri and yaoi writers for fan fiction, not creating their own official works, getting them printed, sending them out. These are fan fiction authors. So China recently has had a crackdown on adult content, period, despite allowing their people to start OnlyFans that only traffic in Western currencies. Make of that what you will. But they're desperate for it.
Also, remember, they were I don't know if you remember this, but on Pixiv, when they had to crack down, it was because there was Chinese sex traffickers. You going through the CG, was it the AI? Yeah, it was the AI tag. Going through the AI tag and getting away with child trafficking and also having photos of dead bodies being trafficked through there too. So yeah, it's just so funny that this is happening. They're cracking down on adult content, yet they're not doing shit about the Chinese trafficking that's happening, human trafficking that continues to happen. It's weird.
Well, and that's, again, it tracks along with their desire to remove adult content from their country. It started, I think, back in 2021 when China said they weren't going to show effeminate men in media anymore. And then it kind of boiled over into no homosexual depictions. And now here we are.
Well, that's what the woke right wants. They want that shit banned, period. They're blaming I've seen people blame porn for the birth rate crisis here in the US, and it's like no, you are wrong. South Korea has a porn ban there, and their birth rate is like is really low. They're at a crisis. So
Yeah, they're below replacement. Yes.
yeah. So saying that porn is the problem is very disingenuous. And like it's crazy how the 80s and 90s religious right is attempting to make a comeback.
I don't know about the characters that can get pregnant. I assume that those are also banned.
Probably that would be Yuri, or not Yuri. It would be yaoi content. There we go. I say Yuri. It'd be yaoi content where the men can get pregnant. That would be that's what would be banned.
Oh, it surprises me that China was again. Like, I guess it just goes to show that the people on the ground are very different than how they're depicted internationally. You know?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, look at what we're getting with Tencent and Marvel Rivals and all that. We're getting all these sexy depictions of women, and I've seen people praising it. It's like, dude, hello, China is not the best person to praise. And I know now, seeing this, you're probably going to have the same woke right people that are calling for a unconstitutional, mind you, nationwide porn ban. They're probably going to be rooting for China here.
Well, and again, like, it's either that or burqas. You know, as we're told that women in, video game characters in bathing suits will cause you to be possessed by gay demons. You know, that was news to me. An adult said that, by the way. Yeah. That's pretty amazing in itself. And yet again, I mean, as we deal with these censors, they don't want to put a line in the sand. China has put a line in the sand. The people we deal with, they don't want to. They don't want to.
They want it all gone. They want all of it gone.
Well, they want a buffet picket. They want to say, this one makes me feel uncomfortable, so I don't like that one. But this one that's exactly the same, but with a different hair color, so it doesn't make me uncomfortable, I like this one. And that's what they want to do. They just want to buffet it. They want to say, this thing that's the same thing, but I like it, is okay. But this thing that I don't like, that's the same thing that I like, is not okay.
Well, a lot of it is very xenophobic. What's coming out of the woke right, which I think is funny, because remember, you know, you had like the leftists saying that the right was being very racist and xenophobic and all that. And it's like, dude, you're becoming what the leftists said you were. You're just proving them right.
We got a very particular group of people that want to promote that. Most of the folks around this area just simply don't want it promoted to children. As adults go, you're free to make your mistakes, make your, triumphs, whatever you want to do. But children shouldn't be exposed to it. And so when they say that, like, we don't want that in a shonen anime, that makes perfect sense to me. But when you deliberately create a yaoi anime, it's pretty obvious what you're supposed to. Yeah, it's what else is supposed to happen, Well,
sometimes yaoi is very slice of life and all that too, kind of like with shoujo. But yaoi and yuri tend to lean more. They tend to push the boundaries more.
They have to, because otherwise they're just two dudes hanging out.
Yeah,
that's all it is. They have to push. Again, I have this conversation with people who want to make a case for exposing children to pride and stuff like that, and I'm like, what is the difference between a heterosexual couple and a homosexual couple? The sex. Why does an 8-year-old need to know about that? Are you going to sit there and tell me there's a gay 8-year-old? Are you really going to try and tell me that? Yeah, I didn't think so. So what's important is that, as far as the censorship on this goes, China's wrong to go out and take out these fan fiction writers, because they're not writing for kids.
No.
Nobody goes to Archive of Our Own trying to find something that's fluffy and kind and clean. All right? Nobody goes to fanfiction.net and says, boy, I hope I don't find anything that'll get me kicked out of a Christian Minecraft server. You definitely know what you're getting when you go into a fan fiction website.
Like the people I'm talking about, they're like, oh, porn addiction, it's bad for adults to have it. It's gonna send you to hell. I'm like, dude, you mofos are telling me I'm going to hell for being a Jew anyway, so why am I even listening to you?
Well, again, a porn addiction is bad, but they define anything that isn't what they like as a porn addiction.
Yeah.
They don't have a standard. It is arbitrary. It is in the moment. Like, I tried to pin people down about this. I said, hey, is Aerith from Final Fantasy wearing the appropriate fashion for all video game character girls? And I couldn't get an answer. So I went and I dug up the Lara Croft wearing a bikini thing from the early games. And I said, is this too far then? If you won't tell me that that's too conservative, can you tell me that this is too liberal then? No. They couldn't do that. So it's like, then what is, bud? What is? And it's the old argument that I had with my third fiance. And I said, what's the difference between lingerie, a bikini, and your underwear? Go. And it's whoops. And so that's what we're dealing with, is these people they want to go with, I like the color blue, color red should be banned. And that's what it is. That's all it is. But we do have some good news. Over in Japan, they are working on a Gundam museum.
Yeah.
Right. And it has many neato displays. Let's take a look. We'll mute it, though, just in case there's some music. But there you go. That's a very well done hand, by the way. From the side, it doesn't look very stunning, but when you take a look at it dead on, that's pretty cool. Then you have the diorama set with human-sized Gundams here. This is Amuro waking up the Gundam for the first fight. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Really well done.
And this is just the beginning. It's not done yet.
It looks sick.
As you can see, the Gundam is still under construction. It'll feature another arm, and it looks like this is a photo opportunity where you and your friends will be able to climb into the hand. It looks like that'll be the case, and take your photos of sitting in the hand and posing with it. And then, of course, you have the cockpit here, and this is what really excites me, is being able to like get up on a Gundam cockpit, you know, through the eras. Get up on a Zaku cockpit. It'd be very cool to ride around and to be able to sit in Sinanju's cockpit, in my opinion. But you can't sit in these. These are obviously walled off. But
maybe someday.
We can hope, but it's you can build your own now. You know, it's not that hard these days with 3D printers. And there you go. There's a good old Grandpa Gundam right there with his red eyes. But it's come a long way, guys. It's come a long way from when we sat down on Toonami, sat down at the dinner table to watch Toonami, and Moltar was bringing up the Sailor Scouts, and then Toonami Tom showed up with Gundam Wing and introducing us to the angst of war and really cool robots that make you forget about that angst for a little while.
Well, speaking of that, it's Iron Blood Orphans anniversary this year.
Yep. I've heard a lot of talk about what they're going to do with that. Oh no, I forgot the name of that.
I think it's its 25th or is it its 30th? I forgot.
No, Iron Blooded Orphans was just back in the 2010s.
Yeah, so it's got to be like its 15th or something, or 10th.
So the Erd Hunt, Yerder Hunt. I don't know what it is. The Yerder Hunt, that video game that was the sequel to Iron Blooded Orphans. That's getting a full blown anime.
Yeah.
So
that's part of that's part of the anniversary announcement. I think it's like the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah. He's this is a pretty momentous kind of thing right here. I have not ever seen Sony do Sunrise do this. Gundam Age was the closest thing we've ever had to a generational Gundam series, and it didn't go really well. So the Erd Hunt is presumably I forgot the main character. Mika's son that he had with the little baker girl that was right all about him. So this is presumably the son of Mika finding or inheriting what's left of Barbados and it being either rebuilt or combined with another Gundam. As you know, in this series, the Gundams were created to defeat mobile armors. So they bear demon names because the mobile armors have angel names.
Yeah.
So, and that's it's not a remake. I don't think it's a remake. This is a space station. This is set on a space station that's orbiting Mars, and it's clearly set not quite in the too much far in the future, but it's far enough that there's a space station that has like water and all that stuff on it. Whereas, as we saw with Iron Blooded Orphans, space wasn't that. I wouldn't say heavily populated, but it wasn't that developed. So I would say that this is since then, and this is Gjallarhorn going out and making sure that the Martians aren't as trapped as they felt. That was part of the agreement that came out of the last battle there. So
I just remembered something. I got to pull up the thread, but it's I'm hoping Spencer will be here in a second so we can really talk about it.
I want to answer this from Sean. Yeah, there was actually a scene where Mika was having sex with that girl in the cockpit of Barbados. I think it's like it's when they're on Earth after Carta, after he kills Carta and her men. I think that's like the next episode. He's in the cockpit with her. It could have been on Mars before Biscuit died too. I'm not sure, but yeah, he's definitely in the cockpit with her, and like his jacket goes over the side, so it's kind of over the side of the cockpit. So it's implied that, that's what's going on in there. No, they didn't show it. Obviously, they weren't going to show it, but it's implied that they're not showing the cockpit of him taking his jacket off for a reason. It's implied that he's taking his jacket off out of sight. That something that's supposed to happen out of sight is happening. So, we hope you're doing well too, Bowsette. I see you have a VTuber avatar here now. Congratulations.
Took me a second to find it, but here we go. I got it. So apparently, the Japanese fans are furious at how Sakamoto Days is looked. And I knew it from the jump it was not going to look good based on the first trailer. And had a feeling Japanese fans weren't going to like it. And it was to the point where TMS deleted comments from the YouTube videos for the first and the second trailer. And also for the opening, they were deleting comments too.
Wow.
It's not pretty.
So what is going on with that then? Is this some kind of revenge thing that they're doing?
In terms of deleting comments, they just don't want the negative comments there.
So they're sensitive over the look, so they know it's wrong, and they don't want to engage in conversation about that.
No, they in terms of the opening, let me put this here. I do have a couple of comparisons in my thread on the opening. It looks really bad. Like the characters do not look like themselves, or some of them don't really look like themselves. And then a big complaint, and this was both in the YouTube comments and for the first and second trailers, was the opening song, is that the movement is stiff. It is bad. See, look, there's my boy right there, Seba. He looks so bad. That is not the same character.
Oh, hi, Spencer.
Oh, hi. Hi, Mark.
Hey, just in time. You came in time because we're covering the Japanese fans being pissed off at Sakamoto Days and TMS deleting the comments.
Oh, I have no idea about that. I'm not caught up.
Yeah. So as I said, I saw this a few days ago on Reddit that I guess the Japanese Sakamoto fans are furious with how it looks. Yeah, that is not Nagumo. That is not the same person.
Oh,
wow, that's yeesh.
That's brutal.
That's the opening song that this is in. That worries me. I already had concerns when I covered the first trailer on my channel, and I looked at the second trailer and I saw Heisuke. I was like, that is not Heisuke. I don't know who that man is, but that ain't Heisuke. But seeing Nagumo here in the opening look like this is just, it breaks my heart because that's my favorite character in this series.
What is that? That's trash. Exactly, Timon. That is hot trash right there. That's steaming hot trash. I don't understand. Like, who else goofed this up so hard? There was an anime in the past that just really goofed the adaptation.
There's quite a few that
I was going to say there's a lot of those all the time, right?
well, I just remember it because like it was something. It was on Anaconda over on Sci-Fi, and everybody just hated the guts out of that. I don't remember what it was. I think it's just because my brain's erased it because it was so terrible. But it just stands out in my mind. Like, I don't remember what it was. It wasn't a shonen anime. It was some adult anime, and it felt like Aeon Flux and Ghost in the Shell had like an illegitimate child they didn't want to claim. And I just
that's what I would just describe Aeon Flux as. So I'm lost.
That's true. That's true. So there you go. It looks like garbage. It absolutely does. Who did this? Where do we find them? who did this. Tell me their names.
I don't know if the character designer worked on the opening or not, but he was the director for Megalobox. And I even put in my thread, I said something that I think is going to happen is we're going to have a Chainsaw Man situation. And that we're going to see, hopefully, ideally, I'd like to see it to go to Unlimited Produce and David Productions team, which worked on Undead Unluck, and have them do it. Because Undead Unluck looks really good. And let's be real, it's not going to even, it doesn't look perfect, but it looks really close to the Undead Unluck manga. No, it does not look close to Sakamoto at all.
It feels like they took all the personality out of it. Like they there's no detailing. It just looks like, honestly, if you just threw like AI or anime into an AI generator, this is like what the thing they would pop out, like just generic anime.
Look at Heisuke. That is not Heisuke in the face. It just it frustrates me. He deserves better.
It looks like the Hunter x Hunter character.
Yeah, he looks like Leorio.
Yeah, he looks more like Gon than Heisuke.
No, Leorio.
Oh, Leorio. Yeah, you're right. Leorio, not Gon. Yeah.
So there's another one here that caught my eye earlier when Nerdigan said, there it is. Look at that.
Oh, God.
Just look at that.
He looks like Sanji right there.
Yeah, right. Any minute he's gonna like high kick something, you know. But yeah, and then there was another one that looked awful.
There's Nagumo. Oh, Nagumo looks so bad. And there's Takamura. Oh, Takamura looks so bad. Oh my God, because Takamura. The thing is with Suzuki's art is it has a lot of shading and a lot of line work to give it dimension. And that's why people love it so much, is they love the dimension, and it feels like you're looking at a classic combat movie. And yeah, this ain't it. This is not it.
This caught my eye the most because the first thing I thought when I saw this, I was like, Kill Bill is in this? They got that David guy that hanged himself in the closet while jerking off to do this? Wow, how about that?
David Carradine, yeah.
Yeah, David Carradine. That's who I thought of immediately was Kill Bill. That's I was like, Kill Bill's in this? I did not.
Is way better than anything in Kill Bill.
Exactly.
He looks so bad. He needs more wrinkles on his face.
Well, and again, like everything is look at the city. It's so plastic.
I know this is only the opening song, but Jesus, man, it is bad.
This doesn't look bad. Looks like somebody actually cared about this. This doesn't look bad.
A faraway shot.
The last frame, the final frame of the opening. They were like, oh, well, we better put it all in now, boys. But lame. Yeah, it's pretty lame.
Yeah, people and then there's people that are like, oh, the Japanese fans are overreacting, and Western fans are really pissed too. And I'm thinking to myself, it's about time the Western fans are starting to notice this, because I kept getting crap for calling it out. When I called it out for Chainsaw Man, and I said what when I saw the first trailer, or when I covered one of the trailers for Chainsaw Man, I'm like, I know for a fact the Japanese fans are not going to like this, and the hardcore manga fans like me are not going to like this, especially since it was going the realism approach. And I was right. Hell's Paradise Shigakuraku. I was right about that too. It looks horrible. It just, because Sakamoto Days is a huge property, that's why I think this is going to end up going through the Chainsaw Man route. And also, why would you only have the Megalobox director, who is good at doing combat art animation, only doing character designs? It's like what happened with Chainsaw Man. Why would you have the Black Clover director, who's good at action series, only just do the action directing and not like direct the whole thing and have a rookie do it? It makes no sense.
I mean, it does. You got to divide up the time so that you can get it out on time.
But like Black
Clover, it's just production delineation.
Well, with Black Clover, he had to manage the entire production and manage divvy up all the work too. So it's like,
right. But this way he doesn't have to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, he did that on Black Clover, but that sounds miserable. If I was him, I'd be like, I don't want to do that again. So if somebody said, do you want to come direct an anime? I'd be like, I'll do the action scenes. Is that cool? And they'd be like, yeah, that's great. Go for it. I mean, we do that in movies a lot, all the time. That's not unheard of.
Yeah. I'm very curious what was going through Shueisha's mind when they saw that, as they're seeing like all the complaints that are happening and all the what was it, and all the, like, this is just
Well, we do have a comment here from Henry Thrun. He says, maybe it's just my luck, but usually when I catch your show, you're talking about anime instead of comics. Well, truthfully, there's more happening in anime than comics. I mean, right now it's what's going on with Spider-Man. Oh, he's being run through the ringer again. Okay. What's going on with Superman?
Here's the comic book news. Harry is black now, and he maybe, is he still a woman?
Yeah.
Is he still, or is he a dude?
He's
I don't know. It's
he's
very
not.
unclear.
He's just a feminine male because the woke voice actor Zeno Robinson is playing him. So
okay, stop. Hold on, Nerdigan, stop. You're doing this reverse. The character is not woke because Zeno is voice.
No, I'm saying the voice actor.
No, she said the voice actors, not the character.
Right, I know, but I'm saying like the voice actor is, but that doesn't imply the character is on his own. It's just a double
and it says in the wiki confirmed that he's a guy. But also, like, if I'm saying Zeno is woke because if Harry was trans, there would be no way he would be voicing him at all, out of principle.
Probably.
I was just about to say, yeah, I got to get back into this whole comic book thing. Because as you guys see, I've been basically fighting Hulk Hogan haters for the last 48 hours. I'm a little bit out of the loop. So you guys got to catch me back up to what the hell's been going on
that's the thing. Like Cider is really on point there, Henry. Like, unfortunately, right now we're in a period where there's nothing major sort of coming out. There's no Star Wars. There's no MCU. I know there's Skeleton Crew, but
Skeleton Crew's not doing very well. I heard it's
but but that's the thing. Here's I feel where a lot of us are. It's like, what is there to say about Skeleton Crew? We already went through this rigmarole with Acolyte, with Obi-Wan. A lot of us are just tired. So like, I've heard Skeleton Crew is just middling. I know the people I've talked to who've watched it are like, it's enjoyable for what it is. And so it's fine. So it's not too awful to like rail, and it's not too good to praise. So it's just sort of there. And then when it comes to Marvel, yeah, we're in like a rut right now where there's nothing coming out, but just you wait, Henry. We are a month and a week away from the next movie, and it's going to be a disaster. Like, it's going to be exceedingly bad. As the press tour ramps up, it's going to get worse.
The only thing they haven't shown us from this movie in the clips that they've revealed is Sabra. That is the only thing.
No, she's in it, but she's in that first trailer for like, or that one that you that I like when you made fun of it, where it's like the sliding panels and everything, where they were trying to be super serious. Oh, yeah. She's in like one of the montage shots. You can see her like flipping over somebody, but yeah, they don't ever like center like, hey, it's Sabra.
Well, and again, I mean, like that's really weird, but that's the only thing they haven't shown us from that movie. We've seen everything. We know how Sam ends up in the conflict he's in. I think we've seen some of the serpents, not like dead on, but they've been.
Well, there's only one now.
So
it's only Giancarlo now. There's no Seth Rollins or whoever it was, and like that's that other wrestler girl who was with him. They reshot everything to remove that and put in Giancarlo.
Yeah, so that's what we're looking at then, is that they've shown us everything, because they showed us Giancarlo introducing himself and his conflict with Captain America. So now the only thing we're missing is the torture scene. That's it.
They revealed who Red Hulk is going to be. They revealed that they fight at the end of the movie. Like, okay, cool. I've seen everything. Oh boy, I get to see new Falcon in his green costume. Like, who even cares about this guy?
Who even knows who he is?
Marvel doesn't even try using his replacement in the comic books anymore. Like Falcon 2 is not a thing anymore. He's gone.
Obliterated, erased.
Yeah. Not even that. Like, just one day they said that was your last appearance. No, like on page death. No, you're going to go do this now. It was just, he was in that page or he was in that issue. Never again.
Nerdigans, was there another anime related?
In terms of what's coming out, there is Dragon Ball Daima's returning this week, and not just the sub. The dub is starting this Friday. There's also I heard Soul Leveling Season 2 is doing pretty well. I moved past the anime. I'm on the sequel, Soul Leveling Ragnarok Mama, which is just It's so good. Oh my god, it's so good. Then there's season 2 for Toilet Bound Hanoka-kun that is starting this weekend. Obviously, Red Ranger Isekai is starting this weekend. And there was another series of and the 100 Girlfriends season 2 is starting this weekend. The 100 Girlfriends is beautifully animated, and I can't wait to cover it. I'm so excited for covering the 100 Girlfriends.
Here's my thing, Nerdigans. Like, I feel like this upcoming season that starts on Saturday, I was looking through all the series, and like, aside from kind of what you already mentioned, like, most of what I was looking at is like sequels or like season 2s for this round, right? Like, there's like Honey Soda, and then there's like Red Ranger Isekai, but most of them are, it's like a ratio of like 1 to 9.
There's Honey Lemon Soda as well, but
I know I said that.
I refuse to acknowledge that because JC staff is probably butchering the hell out of it, and I do not want to see that manga bastardized because that manga is beautiful.
But yeah, no, but more to my question, like what do you think is up with that? Why do you think we're getting so many sequel seasons now instead of like anything new? I don't want 4,000 more isekais to watch.
No. Something that's going on in Japan is that there are a lot of the directors, and this is why you're kind of seeing a lot of reboot series as well, is they want to, relive their childhood kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what's happening here.
Yeah.
It really is. But in the case, and I said this to Sire before we went live, is that in Japan's case, there's a lot of series that kind of do need a remake. Like Rama Half is the best example that I could think of off the top of my head, because Rama Half never got a full adaptation. It didn't. So. Right. And even the stuff that adapted, there was a lot of filler too.
Well, that's the kind of thing we always talk about, right? Where it's like, stop remaking good movies and good TV shows and remake the things that didn't get, the proper treatment.
Get an actual adaptation or something like that.
Exactly.
Henry Thrun says this. He says, I never got into anime, but my boys are watching it. They finished Attack on Titan. They said they'd like to watch it again with me sometime. To be honest with you, Henry, I think if you wanted to sit down with something that like Attack on Titan comes on pretty fast. Let's put it that way. If you're into some really heavy visuals, and by heavy I mean pretty violent visuals.
I mean, but if they're teenagers, it's not anything bad for a teenager.
No, I meant him.
No, I meant for him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can't handle it. I just don't have the stomach for it. I'm watching people getting eaten, ripped apart. It's one of my like phobias of like being eaten. I hate it. Like, I fear zombies and stuff like that.
No vor? No vor?
None. I can't do it. Like, the zombie movies, it legitimately terrifies me to be eaten alive. Okay. So
you're going to love 28 years later.
Yeah. Right?
I'm not going to see it. That's why I never saw it 28 days later.
Where like, if I'm sitting here and I'm not thinking about it, like I can play a zombie game, I can watch a movie. But if I sit and I think about the actual logistics about like getting bitten into and like eaten, like then I'm like, no, I'm done. I want to go home.
I just can't do it. And that's why Attack on Titan just pushes all the buttons for me. All the buttons.
Bunch of sissy Marys.
That's what it is. I'm sorry. I do have every man's got his weakness. Mine is being eaten alive. So
I just double checked the list. I almost forgot. There's Zenshu, which is Mappa's original series. It is an isekai technically, but a lot of people are saying that it is beautiful. It's beautifully animated, and they are liking. They think it's kind of like a projection of what's
RE0 is very pretty as well, but it's still an isekai.
Yeah, I know. But the other one that's that I like, I've read and is really good, I need to catch up on it, is Medaka Kuraiwa is Impervious to My Charms. That manga is really fun. If you like Kaguya-sama Love is War, you'll like this series. And the anime adaptation just started this week too. So I really recommend that if you are into like the romantic comedies. I wish I could say Honey Lemon Soda. I really want to say Honey Lemon Soda, but JC staff is bastardizing it, so I can't.
So Henry, just kind of the takeaway here is just what I wanted to recommend is Cowboy Bebop. You and your sons should sit down and watch Cowboy Bebop. If they've made it through Attack on Titan, they'll have no problem with Cowboy Bebop. And you as an adult will really get a charge out of Cowboy Bebop. There's a lot of that nostalgia from our dads kind of woven into that. You know, you feel if your dad was into cowboys, that Wild West feeling of space, you know, is kind of put in there. If your dad was into detective noirs, that feeling of the detective Gumshoe trying to solve the mystery on time is there. If your dad was into like buddy comedies where two guys are trying to figure out a problem and a woman keeps causing problems for them, you're gonna love it, you know. But it's really geared to like, yeah, my dad would have liked this, you know, but not in the negative way. It's meant to remind you of sitting and watching some old thing with your dad that he
I'd include Trigun in that category as well.
Yeah, Trigun's good for it, you know. So I just Attack on Titan comes on hard and fast for me, and so for people that aren't used to anime, I don't recommend it as your first through. It's a bit like starting on 10 when you really should be starting on 1. You know?
But you should be starting like on Naruto and Dragon Ball, and
right.
Start on Digimon and then work your way up to Cowboy Bebop.
For kids, Digimon, like you're gonna get your proper education.
It better have some Angela and Anaconda on there. That's how for kids we're talking about.
Your parents better get divorced after you watch that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But so
that's just what
like,
it is.
This is not
Angela Anaconda caused my parents to get a divorce. Part 1.
It's going to be the greatest trilogy we ever put into cinema.
Mm-hmm. Dude. No, wait. It's Jacob. Mm-hmm. Please make that video series where you talk about the Angela Anaconda. And the title of the series is Angela Anaconda Made My Parents Get Divorced, Part 1.
No, that's a real thing.
It is?
You haven't read that green text? Okay, so
no.
This was a story from forever ago.
Yeah.
And like way before, everybody got access to the internet. But a kid went to go see his parents, like he was like, that movie made my parents get divorced because they went to go see the movie and their parents were already sort of rocky. And when they get to the movie, they sit down and the first thing that comes on is Angela Anaconda. And so the kid's like, what am I watching? And the confusion of that moment caused his parents to fight. Like, you bought the wrong ticket to the wrong. I didn't buy the wrong ticket. Like, what? Blah, 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 blah. And so they left the theater abruptly. And then from there, it cascaded into them getting a divorce.
I was on 4chan in 2007, 2006 when it was like just
it's like
4chan.
it's like from then.
So I missed that completely. I guess
No, you missed it, but it was from that era.
Yeah. So here I have it right here, and we'll go through it live.
There we go.
So it says right here, it says, didn't know at the time my parents were having a rocky relationship. I begged to go see the Digimon movie. Parents agree, but I didn't realize it's for them to spend some time together as well. Get to the theater and excited about Digimon flick. Can even afford popcorn and drinks. Parents look happy. Angela Anaconda short comes on. Parents also don't speak very good English. Oh, here we go.
Oh, God.
My little boy brain can't comprehend all the fuck going on. My parents utterly confused by this Canadian fuck running around in Digimon suit. I start crying and they pull me out of the theater. Mom and Dad start blaming each other for going to the wrong film. Dad throws the popcorn Mom wanted. Lots of arguing and I'm still crying. Get out of the parking lot, drive off in a rush, get into an accident in the parking lot. Dad moves out a month later. Oh no. Lucky bitch of horror analyzed Angela Anaconda ruined my life. Oh my gosh. Now you gotta do it.
Angela Anaconda is somebody's super villain origin story.
Right. Why did Lex Luthor steal 40 cakes? Well, there was a Digimon movie.
And 20 years later, that man became the Joker.
Yes. Do a retrospective on Angela Anaconda and title it Angela Anaconda Made My Parents Get Divorced.
Angela Anaconda is like one of those shows where, like, even as a kid, like, you don't have like poor like sense of taste and like content, like even then you'd be like, this shit sucks. So who thinks this is good?
Who did this? It's like the butt ugly aliens.
It's like it's the show that you watch. It's literally the show that you watch.
Twins.
It's the show that you watch on a Saturday morning and be like, oh, okay, I guess I have to like go outside now because all the TV shows are done.
Yeah, you gotta go outside.
No, or you're like, oh man, I woke up at 8:30. I'm a little late. I hope I didn't miss cartoons, and you didn't. But the last show that's on, Angela Anaconda.
It's like the opposite of what like Gumby was for like Nick at Night. When Gumby came on, you were like, oh, okay, I guess it's time for me to go to bed now.
Yeah. Like, oh man, they're back to cartoons again. I've been up way too late.
Yep.
Well, I believe that means it's time to get over to the main topic. So
Let's
here
do
we
it.
are. Whoops, wrong button. I'll figure it out.
Say, where's our
Sorry.
intro?
No, we can run it again. You want to watch it again?
Oh, okay. I don't. I know you're in the process of like revamping everything. So
I don't have
when
the
they
solos
run.
figured out yet. That's
Oh,
the thing.
that's right. Yeah.
When I
So
put
no,
you guys up on solo.
Oh
here,
yeah, that makes
weird.
sense. Okay.
That's totally
all.
right. I totally forgot
Sorry.
about that. So
Sorry.
no,
If anybody had any cool intro planned.
Damn it, Angela Anaconda, you're ruining this show now.
Ruining
every bit of everyone's lives.
Speaking of ruining lives, though, Ubisoft is deeply disturbed by damning reports of abuse in an Assassin's Creed support studio. All right. So before we get into that, I do want to let you know that what we're about to talk about isn't funny. There are some ridiculous things that happen. But this, a young woman was severely abused at this studio. So I hate to take us from a high note to a low note, but it is the topic of the stream.
This is how we go.
Is this the U.S. studio or the Japanese studio?
This is an Indonesian studio that was run by Hong
Indonesia.
Kongers. Yes.
So like so full disclosure, I know of this story. I saw it come across my feed. I don't know the details. So I just learned that it was from Indonesia right now, and that is, I don't know why that's so surprising. It's like not one of the first countries I would have picked. I would have picked like America, Canada,
China.
Yeah, probably China,
North Korea.
Yeah. And
Well,
so,
we wouldn't know.
truthfully. Yeah. But so what we have here is now what was interesting about this is Eurogamer yesterday was like some random external development studio. Whoa, it like dropped from the sky. Whoa. And then today they're like, oh, by the way. But by the way, it was Ubisoft. It was Ubisoft Studios. We're going to tell you that yesterday because like that would have like ruined our access media, bro. So like, bro, you just got to work with us, bro. Okay, bro. So we're not going to tell you anybody what this was about until today when our bros over at Ubisoft had something to say about it, bro. Okay, bro. But anyway,
bro,
it just annoyed the hell out of me. I was like, oh, I wonder who this is today. They didn't even go back and change the headline. Like I would have at least gone back and changed the headline.
I guess,
yeah, they did.
At least put it in like update here, like check out this like story.
Nope. There's no update. This just links back to this one that's just like some random studio somewhere did this and you're supposed to care, you know, and then Ubisoft was like, it was us.
It was, yeah, my bad.
This is supposed to be, according to people, the year of Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm like, everyone on Twitter is just like, dude, what are you talking about? It's not the year of Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's not going to be the hit that you think it is.
Unfortunately,
after all the scandals, it's like, what?
Unfortunately, it's going to be the year of 100 slaps. So the full video of this is over on People Make Games. It's a YouTube channel that does exposés on bad behavior in gaming industry. And what happened here is pretty grotesque. So at the center of this is Krista Sidney. Now, this is a woman that is either Indonesian or in and out of the country enough that her accent isn't correct. We were told in the comments who these people were. So what happened here is that the Canlai owns Brandoville, the studio here. And so they were tasked with doing some midway animations for Assassin's Creed, some filler animation. And so they were doing crunch hours to get this done. This was last year, by the way. And so between 2019 and 2024, Ken and his wife, Cherry, have been physically, mentally, and emotionally abusing this young woman, and inexplicably so. They ran away to Hong Kong when their studio was shut down and have refused to talk about anything beyond an incredibly cryptic statement that Cherry had to say. And Ken didn't say anything, but Cherry had to say, and she says, "To me, my part of the story is not important as long as my team are good and safe now." So let's find out what this was all about. So Sydney describes how Cherry Lai took her under her wing following a dispute early in her career. But now this has led to toxic abuse. Initially, Lai imposed a strict working schedule on employees and would purposefully divide employees through gossip and demeaning words. So this was a lady that would go around and say like, hey, that guy said something about you. You probably ought to go fight him. And that was your boss that did that. Okay.
Gossips. Yes.
So what happened was people make games went in initially to talk about crunch culture with this studio, because they were doing a bunch of studios at once, and they were there during this abuse. And so they came back to talk to this woman who was being abused right in front of their eyes. And so Sydney has now continuously abused by Lai, including a work trip to a conference in which she was not allowed to sleep for more than approximately about half an hour for 4 days. So what happened is that she was forced also to write over and over and over again apology phrases. And in actuality, she was forced to convert to Christianity in order to hold her job. They had daily Christian worship sessions.
That's backwards from what I would have assumed. That's crazy.
Right. Islam is the most popular religion in Indonesia, and apparently these people wanted to change that. So in order to keep her job, Sydney had to conform. Now, what has come to light in the comments section through this is that Sydney didn't have a choice. Way that the resume system works over there is referential. So if one of your bosses doesn't like you, that's it. You're not even going to be allowed to serve coffee. Okay? It's over. And so what happened with Sydney was she was basically held hostage. She went to work for this company trying to build her career, and they said, if you don't work for us, we'll make sure you don't work anywhere else. Good luck. And so for whatever reason, they decided to prey upon this young lady, and it eventually boiled over to shoving her into doorways and making her record herself. Nobody videotapes anything. Record herself being slapping herself 100 times for punishment. Now, these punishments would be doled out if she didn't wear the appropriate clothes to work. So what this seems to mean now, what happened with other employees, right? So we have Mr. Balthazar here. It's quite a bizarre, again, it's Caesarian or Kazarian Balthazar. It's like one of those C.S. Lewis names.
Yeah, that is a classic like royal villain type of
That's
name.
Prince Caspian's older brother, But anyway, the Balthazar reported that Cherry stole a month's worth of salary to him because she convinced him that he wasn't capable of taking care of his own bills, that he was overspending, and that she should be allowed to handle his expenses. So he effectively became a slave. And what happened here with Siafana Afiati, I think is how you spell that, Afiati, is that basically what happened is she was so overworked that she gave birth to her son 2 months early, and he died in intensive care 4 months after that. And the company was like, oh, well, you're going to be to work on Monday?
Yeah, right.
And that this company is now out of business. That wasn't because of this situation. They ran themselves into the ground over money issues. And so what happened here is she took this, Sydney went viral with this, because what happens in Indonesia is unless you get big attention on your criminal situation, nobody cares. The police are just like, we'll get to it when we feel like it. But if there's enough public outcry, the police will respond to it. And so this phrase, no viral, no justice, is not no justice, no peace. This is more like, if this doesn't go viral, this woman will not know peace. This is a critique on the media, not a call to action. And justice, rather, a call to a critique on justice. And so now, again, I'll read you what Cherry had to say. To me, my part of the story is not important. I only physically abused, mentally abused, and emotionally abused. It's not important. But thank goodness my team is good and safe now, far away from me.
Yeah, that's a complete, like, that's a nothing statement. That's like a lawyer told him to say that at any time he was questioned.
it's just enough plausible deniability so they can't hook him to, well, did you do this? It's like, that's not what I said.
I didn't admit to anything. I just said I'm happy.
I didn't incriminate myself. It's like I just asked you. Hi.
I didn't say Drake. I didn't say anything about Millie Bobby Brown. That's weird.
Exactly. Like, why'd you even bring up that name?
So Richard brings this up for $3.33 here, and he says
Richard!
not just her, not only ones they're not the only ones that are doing it. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Again, like the Asian workplace is challenging to say the very least.
They have like in China, they have nets outside of your windows wherever you are in case you
suicide nets.
Just in case you decide you can't handle your job. Do you guys remember? I want to say it was like a year or two ago. There was that ad that was going around on Twitter of the like old Asian guy with like that plane toy where he would like hit it on the ground or he would like throw it. It would go out the window and it would come back and it was like, buy this crazy toy. In that freaking video, if you looked at the windows, you could straight up see the nets, and it was so just like, oh man, that's so dystopian.
So Bowsette asked if we're sure that this isn't this guy has a very strange face, but he does.
I don't even know what I want to say about it, but I feel like I want to say something. He looks British.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about this being, he did a full expose on this, and so this is the video of her slapping herself.
Yeah, and I obviously need to warn you that it's distressing.
He is British.
Now, the reason
so that's what she had to do, and that was many times. Slap herself 100 times, and that was practiced upon her several times in order to keep her job and the prospect of continuing having a job, really. So documentary goes on to detail other people and her photographs of her abuse and things like that, stuff that I'm not sure YouTube is going to let us show live.
Probably not.
I don't know. I just don't want to risk it. We're not in great shape with YouTube right now. We've had some people who had some crosswise ideas about things and decided to let their feelings known about that through reporting. And so we got to deal with that. So, feel free to hit like and share the stream out if you'd like, because YouTube's definitely keeping us down. But I don't want to tempt that by showing more violence. Right now, that's a bit of a, haha, Asian lady slapping herself in the face. This is probably a meme. I'm not going to think anything about it kind of algorithm read. But we go any further, it's going to start noticing that this is domestic abuse and start, making decisions for us.
Getting on us, yeah.
And so that's what's going on with Ubisoft. And so
what games was this studio involved with Ubisoft?
So
did they say?
They only worked on Shadows and Age of Empires 4. This company had really only been in existence to do this job. So,
I was gonna say, isn't Age of Empires 4 like the brand new one?
Yeah.
Or what are the newer ones?
It's the one with the rocket ship.
Yeah, 2021, 2023. So yeah, they were made just for this. It looks you're totally right.
And so this is Ubisoft's only statement. They say we are deeply disturbed by the recent reports surrounding Brandeville Studios. We strongly condemn all forms of abuse, and our thoughts are with the affected employees. I mean,
again,
I get
another canned legal statement.
Another very corporate response to something very evil. And again, like they could have come out and said, we're going to support Sydney and the other employees that were bothered by this in their quest for justice, because it's Indonesian money, guys. Come on. The Gilmonts have that in their freaking couch. So
yeah,
they can go ahead and fund these people getting their justice, hunting down the lies, dragging them back from Hong Kong into Indonesia to stand trial for this goofy stuff that they did. And no, Ubisoft says, sucks to be you, losers. We're thinking about you, though. Maybe. See you in the hot tub.
So that's what's so weird about this is like my first response when we read that was like, they're probably just saying this to avoid whatever legal troubles. Again, it's a canned statement. No thought was really given to this. But what is weird about it is that there's no, I don't want to say like call to action, but no like indication that they're looking into it, that they're going to take action. It just basically says like, that's crazy.
Well, this happened in Indonesia. I just wanted to throw this out here real quick. The conversion rate is so bad. The Indonesian rupiah, just one of them, is the equivalent to $16,200 American. So it doesn't seem like financially their country is in a great shape. So it's not a country I would expect justice out of for probably that same reason. So yeah, that's what happens when you start.
$1 is worth 16,000 whatever.
Yeah, US.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I heard it backwards. But anyway, yeah, so that's our economy. We used to my family's company used to transport Indonesians back and forth to the airport and the port of entry, like a shipping port for tankers. They used to come on asphalt ships and clay slurry that was used to make paper. And these fellas, they weren't like the fellas that were going to build rocket ships and, write philosophy books. We're not dealing with guys that were deeply ingrained in the human experience, mind you. But they expressed this, that they came to America and they would bring empty suitcases so they could fill them up with American things, because back in Indonesia, they got like the dented, dinged, half functioning versions of everything that we get here in the US. It's top quality here in the US. So they would buy shoes, they would buy electronics. These guys had girlfriends in Brazil where they stopped to dock along the way. So they had wives back in Indonesia and they had girlfriends in Brazil. So they'd buy the Victoria's Secret for both of them. Right. So they bring them back Victoria's Secret. And so
the perfect plot.
Yeah, right. Well, and that's why you have Indonesians in Brazil now. But the situation is that their economy is another one that's not necessarily purposely depressed. The valuation of their money is purposely depressed, but because the Indonesian economy is spread out over so much challenging geography, they're not only a coastal state, but they are also an island chain. So good luck trying to keep all that together and having a functioning economy, especially with the tumultuous nature of the Indian Ocean. So it's pretty interesting when you get down to like why Ubisoft reached out to the studio, why they went.
Ubisoft is being cheap. That's what it is.
Yep.
And I mean, you got to wonder if this happened to Activision, because remember, Activision was going through all those allegations and abusive lawsuits and all that. Gotta wonder if the Activision would be in the same position that they are now if they would have outsourced this to Indonesia, if this was,
Who knows? But we do have breaking news, a breaking news update here. Nerdigans has provided us with some stunning photos out of the California fires, including this right here, which is the Hollywood sign that is up and around in flames right now.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing, it's in WeHo. It's hit WeHo first. This is a new fire that's happened, and originally going into this, what I was thinking was that, this could probably be an Edison situation, because usually Edison, which is Southern California's PG&E, they have outdated electrical lines and gas pipelines, like beyond outdated. And so I was thinking that could be it. But with this fire, I just have to wonder if this is arson.
Well, yeah, I pretty much said it just a few minutes ago. It's like either God is casting his judgment on the city of Los Angeles right now, or someone is setting these fires intentionally, because it's not like this fire started by like some of the embers from the other fire. This is in a completely different location, and it's more centralized with the spray. So it seemed like somebody started, like I said, who knows what's going on right now, but a lot of things are burning over there in Los Angeles at the moment.
Well, and
still have to go to school. I don't know if you guys saw that, but UCLA was like, "Oh, everything's on fire, and you can see like the sky is black, but we're open, and students better come."
Yeah. By the way, we're getting about 4 inches of snow here in Georgia on Friday, so we're probably going to be shut down. And depending on how bad the ice is, we may be shut down for several days. So,
poor Flatlanders.
But what's crazy
I don't get
is
inclement
that
weather like that. I'm jealous.
Well, people are starting to learn about how insane California's environmental policies are, because Cali's EPA is really stupid, and they don't believe in like brush control like they should.
Well, that was the thing. Like 8 years ago, when Trump was calling it out during his first term, and they've done nothing in that time frame.
When it was on fire last time.
Yeah, because they want to. To be fair, like they want to frame this as a climate change problem, right? It's oh, these fires are being caused by climate change. It's like, look, guys, I hate to break this to you. California has been like 70 degrees since like 1946. Like it's not the climate that's changing that's causing all of these brand new fires.
I want to push back against only that one point, because nobody is saying that they're causing the fires. It's the wind season is like, this is unnatural. This doesn't happen, and that's the reason. Well, like that is the climate. The wind, and that's making it all worse. If we
even I was gonna say the wind in the Santa Anas would only, I guess you could say, fuel a fire. It wouldn't actually start a fire.
No, that's why I said that it's either arson or, at least for the first one, I have a feeling that there could have been like a faulty power line or a gas line or something like that, because Edison is complete ash, just like PG&E is up here. That's what usually starts these fires, is PG&E and Edison. So that's why I'm leaning for the first fire. It maybe could be an Edison situation, but like this one in the Hollywood Hills, though, I don't think so.
Can I ask, what's the proximity to Oprah's house to these fires? Just where's The Rock?
Hey, The Rock is in LA right now. It was confirmed.
It smacks of a little bit of Maui. That's all. It just smacks of a bit of Maui.
Yeah,
like,
I know,
this really crazy thing is happening, and the wind is fueling this really crazy thing, and it's like, I don't want to, but it's like, that's it feels a little bit the power lines fell down and started the fire, guys.
Yeah, the power line and stuff like that, it happens all the time. It does.
Yeah. Spencer, you don't know it's a laser. It could have been a laser that got shot out from space.
I live where it's wet. You really
stop giving away my plan. Me and Nerdigans had this on lock until you came around.
I live where
I mean, Spencer's experienced Edison in the South, and I've experienced PG&E fires in the North. I mean, like the San Bruno, which happened years ago, that was caused by a out-of-date gas line from PG&E. Yeah. Like the power.
I mean, like I said,
here in Boot County, which is outside of Sacramento. That's where
it's one of those things, because it is California. It can honestly just be a multitude of things. It could be arson. It could be incompetence. It could be faulty structure. It could be God himself. It could be a number of things. We can't exactly rule out exactly all of them at the same time.
But yeah, I think, as I said, I think it could be faulty infrastructure for the first one, and I think the Hollywood sign fire, that's gotta be arson. Like, I just can't see it I don't know.
Either way, this is a crazy situation. It sucks for everybody affected.
It really does.
But the one part that I cannot bring myself to care about is on all the news sites, I'm seeing like, all these Hollywood award shows are under threat of being postponed. And I'm like, okay, great. Okay, like
who cares?
What am I supposed to feel about that? Like, sad? I'm not. I don't care.
Oh no! Now Amelia Perez is not going to win an award. Boo-hoo.
Exactly. Like, oh no.
I'm more worried about like the actual people that are living there, and I mean, some of the like.
I mean, we got a few friends of the show who are there right now too. So
absolutely.
Well, there's also people like celebrities are helping people escape, which I think is something that is worth covering, if anything. Then we have like Newsom he's just being Newsom, let's be real. But the thing that I think is insane is Karen Bass was in Africa and had to like cut her trip short to come back to the fire.
I got to push back on that. Like, I'm getting really sick of this talking point. Like, oh, Karen Bass wasn't in LA. How was she supposed to know?
Exactly. How was she supposed to know? But the problem I have is on the taxpayer dime that she was in Africa.
To be fair, hold on a second. Yeah. I think it's more of the optics of that. Oh, the city's on fire. Where is she? Why is she in Africa at a time? I think it's more of just like, why is she there? Although this is
because probably nobody else like would have nobody cares about like what your mayor is doing on a day-to-day basis. So when you go like, where are they? They're not even like in the country. It's going to be like a stunning.
I will say this: two points here. I just wanted to let this know. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but Monday night on WWE Raw in Los Angeles, all the people of LA booed Hulk Hogan, and then by Tuesday, the entire city is on fire. Coincidence? I don't think so.
He's right fighting for the rights of every man with this fire.
Hey, that's what happens when you go against a real American. It don't go over very well. But the other thing here is that I heard that now maybe I'm just being a little bit jaded here, but I heard that there's some organization that's trying to like raise public funds in order to aid the victims of this particular fire. Now this is specifically regarding the Pacific Palisades fires. If you guys don't know Pacific Palisades, it's like literally the uber rich like live there. Like it's nothing but like super wealthy elitists. And when I heard that, I was like, public funds, like you guys are multi-millionaires. Like pay out of pocket and fix your shit. You can literally do it. It's like it's nothing stopping you.
It really. This is going to be really like it's crazy right now. But what Jacob is saying is like that's probably the chunk we should focus on because like once this all gets put out and once we're in whatever recovery stage in 7 years when the fire's finally out, more of that's going to come out. Oh, I'm, XYZ millionaire. I need help for my house. And it's like, my heart goes out to you, but dude, I can barely afford to like exist on my own right now. I'm not going to subsidize your lavish mansion.
Like if it was like someone else, if it was, like outside of LA, it's in the hood or something like that, then I could maybe sympathize.
Yeah, it's not even LA. It's specifically like what Jacob said. Pacific Palisades is all rich people.
And Malibu too.
And Malibu's right next to it. Yeah, and that's where
I mean, like I said, you're talking about record executives and like talent agency executives. It's like it's literally the elite of LA. It's like there's only a handful of like only richer place would probably like Calabasas. Like that's really
and that's the poor one.
Or Beverly Hills too.
I saw on the news yesterday, some anchor, she was out he was out in the hills and he was covering it all. And he's like, yeah, Pacific Palisades, the heart of LA. And I had to sit there and I'm like, nobody has ever said that, like, except for people who live in Pacific Palisades.
The heart of LA. It's like, it's like what, an hour like north of like downtown LA. I think it's not even remotely close.
It's not, it's so far away.
So Chris Gore is in the path. So wherever the fire is
that
spreading,
photo he shared was crazy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Chris is in the path of it. And Chris Gore talked about it a bit earlier. So, that he's okay. He's apparently still communicating. And so that's always a good sign. We will be, our thoughts and prayers will be with Chris because we really can't do much more than that. And really just hope for the best because I think this is going to go up there with the Chicago fire. I think this is going to be one of those history-making
ones. There with the San Francisco fire. Like
I tell you what, and like I said, you West Coast guys know this. How come it seems like every 30 years there's like some like generation-altering event that happens in Los Angeles? Like you had the Watts riots, and then you had the LA riots, and now the most important places in LA are just all on fire. Like every 30 years, something wild and crazy happens in LA. I don't know what it is, but
what it is, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff, but at the core, it's the fact that city is corrupt as heck. So they're not funding everything they need to fund. They're abusing all the people they want to abuse. Like it is, and I'm not even trying to take the defund the police like stance of it. Like I'm just talking from a regular guy who interacts with them. Yeah, they like the LA cops suck. They don't fund anything. We see how Newsom and Bass like run the area. We see all the poop that's on the streets now. Like. They don't care until something like this happens, and then they go, "Oh, my vacation in Africa, I have to postpone it," and that's the worst.
Oh no! Now we're gonna have to delay the Rams game. Now this is serious.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, there are like 90 other stadiums. Just go. You guys have zillions of dollars.
They're gonna go to Arizona. That's their backup plan.
I mean, that's not any better for them, but
I feel bad.
I mean, it's Inglewood isn't that close to Pacific Palisades, is it? I mean, it's pretty far away.
But what's a safer neighborhood right now?
Inglewood, yeah.
It's not on fire.
Yeah, we're gonna run to Inglewood when it's safe. It's like, really? Is that how bad it's gotten now?
For those of you who don't know California, there is a neighborhood called Inglewood, which is sort of like a border neighborhood between like Main LA and like South Side LA.
Yeah.
And that's where they decide, like when the Chargers left San Diego for LA, that's more of a big sports and like city thing. So that's why Jacob and I know it. But when they left, they were like, we're going to LA. But their stadium is in Inglewood technically, because the Rams got the proper LA one. So now it's like the Inglewood Chargers. Great. If you go, you will get stabbed.
Yeah, the last time I was in Inglewood was 2018, and that's when they were in the process of building that stadium.
Yeah.
And the places around there, let me just make it very, very clear, they're still just like Shantytown. Still, now they may have gentrified some places over there, but it is still very much Inglewood the last time I was there.
You know that they only gentrified like a 7-Eleven across the street from the stadium, and that's it.
No, it was like one of those like broken down, like Spencer, you know these type of buildings in California where it's like the broken down like white brick buildings and just has a little sign that says like chicken and fish next to it with like a number no one's ever gonna call.
And you're like, it might be a business, but I'm pretty sure if I go in there, I'm just gonna get shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that is the business. Go
like this
shot.
is literally where those guys got shot from Menace to Society.
yeah. Historical site.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I loved how you said that gingerfied. The way they gingerfied the area. I don't know.
Yeah.
How about that?
A lot of redheads over there.
I was gonna say, isn't that what the Troubles were?
I don't know if the Irish made it that far. But
I genuinely don't know. I just really don't like cars that much.
There's not a lot of redheads in LA, but there's a lot of people wearing red in LA, and I would stay away from those people.
Yeah, and the blue people too.
But something I do want to say it's just been frustrating me seeing this is everyone's like talking about like how they are happy LA is burning down and all that. And it's just like, dude, come on. Be better.
It's history. You don't.
Yeah, look, I get it. No one feels any sympathy for like Hollywood celebrities, but yeah, keep in mind there are a lot of people out there who aren't uber rich too, who are being affected by this as well. So it's like it's not just like Tom Cruise and like Leonardo DiCaprio who's getting involved in this. Like there are some people out there who are, who are far less fortunate, who have been kind of taken back from the last couple of days now, I should say. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's we don't want anybody to suffer, really. I mean, as much as we dislike the celebrities and as much abuse as they've committed to the human race through their various actions, we don't want them to suffer this way, because this isn't justice. This is an easy way out. This is not. God's punishment is much more precise. Let's put it that way. And it doesn't come in the form of burning your house down, for the things that they've done. It's much more direct. So the expect a meteor to detonate over it if that was really what was going to happen, like Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what would happen.
Yeah,
if the fire was literally coming from the sky, it'd be like, okay, that's definitely God. He's
definitely God. He's very mad. You shouldn't have booed Hulk Hogan. You shouldn't have booed Hulk Hogan.
You guys are in trouble now. Like, scoot our seats away from him. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know how many prayers from Hulk Hogan that God has been answering for the last 40 years?
He answered them all at once. But that's why I say that, like, we don't want regular people to suffer in this situation. We don't want, your 9-to-5 Californians to be caught up in this. History being destroyed is certainly terrible.
And a lot of these homes, but before you say anything else, a lot of these homes that are being destroyed, from what I've seen, they're very old historical homes. So that's what's really heartbreaking. Yeah. Because they can't do. Some of them are retrofitted too, and California regulations won't let them build it the way that it was before either.
Again, very, very stupid government we have.
Yes, we have a dumb state government, unfortunately.
But yeah, like we don't want anybody, even the celebrities, as much as we dislike them, like we don't want their stuff to like go away. We don't want them hurt or their families harmed. What we're mocking here is the gall of them to go, oh, we're zillionaires, our stuff is gone. You guys who have nothing, help us out, because it's like no. Like we No.
No, if anything, and I think this is going to be the case too for a lot of them, is they're going to be helping the local people that aren't celebrities. They'll probably help.
I did see two big producers or something. I forget who exactly they were, but they just donated like $1 million. And I remember seeing the headline and I was like, at least there's two people in that hellhole who at least have a very small, barely alive Jiminy Cricket on their shoulder. At least there's two.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Netflix Foreign.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Netflix Foreign has this to say. So basically, houses you actually want to live in are getting burned to the ground instead of the ghastly trash that are modern houses.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird. Kind of like how
all the houses that actually have like some history to it. You know what I mean?
Kind of like how the riots that were associated with that fella that had a bad time in Minnesota, kind of like how those just mysteriously attacked high real estate places in cities, destroying businesses that are generationally owned and were resistant to being bought out. It's really weird how that happened.
Yeah, well, what was his name again? Greg Floyd?
Greg. It was Greg. Yeah. I don't think it was Floyd. That's that band Pink Floyd, right? You get it mixed up.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Black Floyd, Pink Floyd. We're going to hell.
There are no good.
Hey, don't throw us in here with nerdigans.
No, Jacob, I was trying to make a joke for the last like 10 seconds. There are no good black people like last names that start with F.
Like, you gotta say that faster next time, Spencer. You took a breath in the wrong spot, man. Oh my gosh. I was like, really? This one? While the Switch 2 is on the screen, Spencer? Really?
Just immediately goes this right after we got done talking about George Floyd, by the way. He just goes, you know what? There's no good black people anymore.
As soon as I started taking, as soon as that pause went like a picosecond too long, I realized it, and I was like, "Oh, I need to learn this question and not screw up what I'm saying."
Oh man, Dr. Umar is gonna clip this whole thing out.
Forget I said that.
Dr. Umar, it was one Sabrina Carpenter song. I'm sorry.
Right. Right.
That's probably the hardest record scratch we've had in quite some time.
But what I was going to say is, because this is kind of related to what Spencer was saying with the events, the thing that sucks about it is that that's a lot of revenue coming to California, and same with a lot of the productions that are being postponed. That's a lot of lost revenue.
Let me
too,
Nerdigans, because you're right about the productions, right? Because obviously that's you got to pay the services and all the rental. I get that. With how much revenue realistically comes in, and I'm asking in general because I don't know, but does an award show truly bring in that big of a revenue? Because I feel like you're getting a bunch of rich people, but
what revenue would they be? Because they all go to private events, so it's it's not like they're all going to go to local businesses afterwards.
Private events, those venues, those businesses are getting screwed.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm looking at it from the same let's say your town or your city was getting WrestleMania or the Super Bowl. When those events come to town, then everyone in the area is going to go branch out because you're going to have a whole bunch of people coming in. The revenue is going to reach those certain points there, but it's maybe some art gala or some museum or something like that. But it had to be something that's already super private and exclusive beforehand. It's like I said, no one's going to Alberto's Mexican food.
I was gonna say,
there's also the catering businesses and stuff too.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, Spencer, that was right up there with Nerdigans. You're a Jew. Can you drink eggnog?
2025, when our last show of the year, we're gonna have Spencer's cancel compilation.
Spencer's cancel compilation.
Spencer's toxic moments.
True chud moment.
You just think you know the editor-in-chief.
Yep.
Dude, you got to give it the old 80s
expose.
No, you got to give it the old True Hollywood Story intro.
Oh God.
You got to put my picture up. You're like, this is Spencer McCooley, the editor of Bounding into Comics, and then you hit invert, and my picture goes, and it goes. But hey,
Nerdigans, can you drink eggnog with all your Jew rules?
All your Jew rules.
Your Jew rules. I just imagine Nerdigans. I imagine the book from Fairly Odd Parents, Dub Rules, but it just says Jew Rules.
Yeah, there's proof that DIC does not participate in DEI. Our editor-in-chief doesn't think there's any good black people.
No good black people, and Jews have weird rules.
Right. Now we're never going to get that deal with Disney.
Damn it.
Damn, we're not getting those reviews anymore.
And I was going to take all four of us to the next Lion King live action sequel premiere. I was so waiting forward for that.
Oh, I do have breaking news though in the manga front is that Triple X Hawk Ray is finally coming back out of hiatus in April.
Oh, did they just announce that right now?
Mm-hmm. April 21st, it's coming out. I'm so happy. It's been on hiatus since March 2017.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, they mentioned St. Floyd. I'm not highlighting that one, Bowsette. Sorry. You're not getting that one on me.
Cider says if Cider had the solo ability, he would put me up, and then he'd put that comment, screenshot it, and then we're gone.
yeah, the stream will end. But we have
this is getting demonetized.
Oh yeah, we can go 4K. It's just, do you want to see us in 4K? Really?
Yeah,
do you really want to see me in 4K? There's a lot of me, and I don't want a lot of that coming through. So the whole Switch 2 situation has kind of exploded recently. China finally leaked the things, and we haven't heard really what Nintendo's going to do about that, but I expect nuclear response, really, that this will be World War III.
The Chinese, part of this is so funny to me because it's such a perfect microcosm of how little they give a fuck about any, copyright law. So for those of you guys who haven't been on the internet, over the past couple weeks, understandably, there's been a lot of holidays. We've all been busy. But recently, a Chinese company by the name of, I totally forget who they are. They are, they make a bunch of accessories for video games. They're not Mad Cats, but it's things like sleeves for your Switch or controller, extra controller pads if you break yours for an Xbox or whatever. And right now in Vegas, there is an event happening called, or it's not in Vegas, that's CES, and that is happening, but that's not where this is. This is at another expo over in Asia, just a general tech expo. The company who makes these accessories came out and they're like, hey, we're going to show off all our new products. And by the way, here's a mock-up of the Switch 2 that we are actively working on because we need to develop all these things. So this gets to what Cider was saying, is that Nintendo, as we all know, has said nothing official at all about the Switch. The most we got was last year, the official Nintendo accounts, after a bunch of leaks were trying to drop, they came out and they said, we hear that, not true, but maybe soon. And everybody went, oh, snap, maybe soon. But now this Chinese company has come out and said, this is everything that's going to be in the Switch. They've been answering questions on Reddit, on AMAs, on Twitter. We're getting specs. We're getting functionality things. Like Cider said, if this is breaching some level of contract they have, Nintendo's got to be sending the Black Hawk choppers right now, because we all know how they react to something like a fan game. And if this is leaking their next big thing, even though I don't feel like it would have a big ramification, they're not going to be, but this is Nintendo. They're not they don't care. If you use their stuff in any unauthorized way, they'll kill your family, straight up.
Well, and Richard points out here that there's no verification on this, as you noted, and stuff like that. And so what's important about this is that we are aware that Nintendo has been seeking to make subtle changes to the Switch Joy-Con and next to no changes to what the Switch functions like. Meaning you're not gonna have cup holders attached. You're not gonna have new features.
The internals will probably be stronger, but yeah, Cider's right. There's no bells and whistles being added to it.
They're saying that this is not next gen graphics, but it's PS4 top end graphics. So it's
honestly, that's all we really need.
But look at what it's traveling in. That's what I try to stress to these guys that are nut jobs about this horsepower race that PS and Xbox are into.
Yeah.
Look at the console that's delivering that to you. It's a tablet, buddy. A tablet is delivering you the full interactivity of a PlayStation 4 at its max settings. So I gotta tell you, it's pretty good. You can play that on a bus.
Right. I mean, again, like it's a handheld PS4. We've talked about this before, but in recent years with the PS5s and all the the new Nvidia cards they just dropped, we're at the point where the increases in graphic like fidelity we're getting, how good everything looks, is very, 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 very minimal, if at all. A lot of it is like
a huge step though, because they're going from like PS3 to
no, yeah. Oh, absolutely correct considering their stuff. But what I'm getting at is right now we're in an era where like graphic power is not necessarily that important to players anymore. We've kind of hit the big peak of what we'll get out of realism until we get real like Ready Player One VR. So this is honestly, I can't imagine what you would improve upon this, except maybe like, Switch 3 has a longer battery life and a better screen.
That would be probably it.
Right.
Battery life. Switch 2 would be if you did get a touchscreen and a longer battery life, I think that would be a plus, especially if they port over some like old DS games onto Nintendo Online or like just physical releases. But yeah, that would totally work for that.
But more of what I'm talking about is like I don't even know what I was talking about now. Like, yes, the Switch 2, whatever, like I'm talking about, like the Switch 2 is going to have that PS4 level power. It's going to be portable. It's going to have Nintendo behind it. What more do you really improve on that technology if you wanted to make a new one, right? Like what would a Switch 3 be? Realistically, in my head, because Nintendo doesn't chase things like ray tracing or whatever, all I can see a Switch 3 being is like a better screen, right? Or like physical hand, like upgrades to the actual console, but nothing to like its internals, because they're kind of already at the peak of what you can do. Or they do like Switch X and it has like a gimmick or something.
So Jacob's sharing a screen here, and there we go.
Yeah, so this is actually one from yesterday, but this is just going to show you how intense some of the fires have been over there.
Oh, this is LA. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was a Switch trying to run a video game. Dude, that's so wild.
That's like the inside of an oven. You need to leave, man. You need to go.
I don't know why there's.
I just want to let people know this, that you don't have to be burned specifically by the flames alone. Like, it's hot enough being close enough to the flames that alone can burn you severely.
The radiant heat. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
You
so
can be cooked like in an oven. You're in a house, man. That air isn't traveling.
A house with a lot of nice stainless steel, which means that all this stuff conducts more heat.
Right.
So,
anything you touch is going to burn you.
You gonna be okay? Hi.
Get the dog! Get the dog out of there! What are you doing? I'm going to.
Out. By the way, they did get out of there. From what I saw.
Okay, good. But still,
they're like hide in a hot tub.
But also, the fire has hit is heading towards the Dolby Theater, where the Academy Awards are held, as well as the Hollywood.
Okay. Whoa. The Dolby Theater, God might be in charge of this one. I might have to give it up to the big G.
Yeah, because I'm about to say, isn't the Dolby Theater pretty far away from the Hollywood side?
It's very far, and like Nerdigan says, that's where the Academy Awards are. Yeah, that's where I would. I would strike down your.
Hey, look, all I'm gonna say is that if Laurel Canyon goes up next, then yeah, this might be God burning down Los Angeles as we speak, because. For those of you guys who don't know, there's a lot of shady, sinister things happening in Laurel Canyon. So
it's not great. Don't go there. Don't go there.
So, how far is that away from Bohemian Grove?
It's a little bit far.
Is Bohemian even in California? It is, right?
It is, but it's not nowhere near LA. I think it's like somewhere.
I knew that, but I know it's. I just forgot where it was.
Wrong coast.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. It's the evacuation zone has hit hit as far as
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna say, yeah, what the hell did the fire get down there?
Well, teleporting fire.
Or somebody just picked it. It's LA. A homeless crazy person picks it up and just, I got fire, and then runs down the hill, and there you go. There's another one.
The ash is piling up like snow. Look at that.
It's crazy. So this is I guess a quick PSA, I guess, to anybody who might be any of our viewers, our friends who might be in California and have maybe never really experienced this. This is what we just saw here, this video of this guy being in his house still while the flames are licking the wall. That is typically what happens when people don't really take into consideration what's happening. So by that, I mean, that guy is probably still there last minute. Like, I didn't think it was going to come. Now I got to get all of my stuff. So as somebody who, when San Diego went up in flames in like 2004, my aunt, her house was right on the edge. We drove around like the fire truck barriers into the house, got all the stuff, but the flames were licking like the wall just like that. And it super sucks and it's super dangerous. But the lesson is like, if you hear this even sort of coming your way, you don't need to go all out and get crazy and, you know, rush everybody into the car, but get your, you know, start thinking about your go bag, start thinking about things you're going to grab, because this, you don't want to do this. You don't want to be like, time to go. What do I grab? Because then you're not even going to make the right decisions.
I mean, I remember the big fire. I want to say it was 2002 when it happened, and I want to say it was the one year.
Yeah,
essentially. Where I woke up the next morning, and it was a Sunday when I woke up, and literally the entire sky was like burnt orange. Like, it wasn't like, you know, morning. It's like burnt orange. You just look outside like, oh, this doesn't
like
look good.
11 a.m. dark blood orange.
Yeah,
like,
and it,
ash constantly raining like it's snow.
And then that's the thing, though. Then they had people like had to stay in their homes because what happened was that the smoke, even though the fire wasn't close, the smoke had taken over the entire city. So if you went outside, like you literally couldn't go outside without one of those like N95 masks because of the smoke inhalation risk. Yeah, it was bad.
They closed school, and that was the greatest moment.
It was like that when the Butte fire happened. Like, it smelled like barbecue outside for like a few days.
Yeah, it smelled like someone had just like threw like a log into like, you know, open flame, and that
a brand new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, stay safe out there if you're in California, and we're glad you're here.
And apparently that someone sent me a video that the arson probably could have been done by a homeless person, which wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways that can go down, too. I mean, I believe the big fire we were talking about, the one in 2002, wasn't that set by either a homeless person or like someone camping in the woods or something like that?
That one was an arson one for like specifically. I don't remember if the guy was homeless, but he probably was, considering it's San Diego. So, yeah.
I remember it was that one because that was like a big deal, too. Then there was another guy like in Alpine who had just tossed a cigarette like out the window and literally burnt down all of Alpine as a result. So, yeah.
Don't litter.
You know, that it's really bizarre to hear about this up here where I am, because everything's wet all the time. You know, the longest drought that I have ever lived through in my life lasted, I think, 2 weeks. Like we're like rain didn't show up for like sustained 14 days. We're like we are like every depiction of England you've ever seen where it's foggy and rainy and miserable all the time. That's Maine. It's like you get a clear day. You're like, oh my God, it's blue, not gray.
What happened?
Yeah. What is this ball of fire? Why is it mad at me? You know, and it's cold most of the time. Like I tell you all the time, it gets above 70. I want to melt.
Yeah.
You know, 100 here, they cancel school. And you guys are like, I do throw a cigarette out the window and it burned down the whole West Coast. And I'm like, whoa.
Exactly.
What's your guys' like? What's your guys' like major like weather thing? It's snow,
like blizzard, right?
It's snow.
Yeah,
it's snow. We literally floods don't even happen because the soil's so hard. It just gets oversaturated. So you might be walking along and then whoop, you're up. You know, your kneecap. You're up to your kneecap in
just
mud.
Gone.
You know? Yeah. Because it's all just like glacial pushed stuff, so it's like all mingled in with hard gravel and then loose soil and, you know, rock and stuff. So
I mean here in Georgia, despite the fact that we're getting like at least 4 inches of snow this Friday, our mainly is like either tornadoes or like severe thunderstorms, because you know we get some pretty nasty thunderstorms like around here. Like it's the ones that are like they're so like loud and so close you can hear them strike before they actually hit the ground.
Yeah, and that
like all of a sudden you just hear boom.
Oh yeah,
the oxygen.
Like, I know that. Yeah, I was like, I know that sound. What is that sound? And then Jacob did it, and I had like I went into my mind palace and
that blood
memory unlocked.
Blood memory came back of being a caveman and hearing that noise. You're like, but yeah, no, that happens here. See, that our atmosphere is supercharged because of our position on the top of the way the globe works. So like sun bounces off the atmosphere, which means the atmosphere is super duper charged. So when you get like a low pressure system from the south that's nice and wet, well, lightning's like, oh boy. and man, like I have watched it hit in my backyard. Okay, I've watched it hit in my backyard, and it knocked up like it. I don't know if you've ever seen like a firecracker go off in like dirt. So like imagine like a stack of firecrackers went off. So like a bucket's worth of dirt went up into the air, but it was like a freight train went by my house. I can't, it didn't knock anything off the walls, but like if I ever imagined the voice of God to have any physical effect on my home, it would have been a lightning strike in my backyard.
Like that, shaking it.
It just felt like the bedrock was rattling under. There was just no sense of where it was coming from. It was just a rattle.
Just an omnipresent.
The world is ending, mother. You know.
Yeah, like I said, here you'll either get like those type of lightning strikes, where it's like, shh, and then you'll hear it, or it'll just be the ones just go boom, like it was like no flash, no nothing. It's just like instant strike.
We get the heat chain lightning, right? We get the heat chain. We get disgustingly humid here, and then it'll run across the sky, and then bam, it'll hit a mountain. And it's like, I don't know how deep of a hole I need to dig, but I need to dig a hole.
I'm not scared right now.
The cider is literally the Terminator 2 nightmare scene above 70 degrees. Yep, that's me holding on to the chainmail fence as the nuke goes off. 71. It is. It's like that. It's terrible. Like right now, it is 25 degrees, and I walked to the grocery store. It's like 700 yards from my house, and I was just wearing this. That's it. You know, I wasn't naked from the pants down, but like I was wearing just a long sleeve t-shirty thing. It's just normal. It's right. But like you guys, you know, it's like 95, and you're like, yeah, you know, I could go for a jacket. And it's,
I was gonna say like, I thought you were gonna be like, oh, it's 95. It's a little cold. I'm like, oh no, cider. When it gets like 95, I'm like, I need a sweater. Like I'm cold.
But you know, it's like, yeah, I could go for a jacket, long sleeve. Oh, 95, a bit chilly, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm thinking like, I'm just the egg sizzling on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the weather right now just for Georgia, just on a quick sidebar, and yeah, this weekend is gonna suck. Because what's gonna happen is that about Friday at noon, around this time is when the snow storms start. It's gonna be like 4 inches of snow. And then I looked ahead for Saturday, and it's like it's not supposed to get over 32 degrees at least till Sunday, which means that thing's gonna freeze over. It's gonna cause ice. Everything's gonna be frozen. The roads are gonna be an absolute mess, and no one's gonna be able to go anywhere until like Monday, to where it's like above 32 degrees again. So yeah, you're probably gonna hear some stuff on the news in the next couple days about Georgia being completely screwed over, because it doesn't look great. So forewarning.
And
this is all bad stuff for like adults and businesses, and I get it. But I like, I don't know, I'm like, oh cool, it's gonna be really crappy out for 3 days and I can't go anywhere. Oh no, I can't go anywhere. I guess I have to stay inside and play video games and watch movies. And
something else I do want to mention for the Californians that are living in the rural area: please bow down your brush, because otherwise you will be in trouble when a fire hits, like huge trouble.
Oh yeah, one of my we can't play it here because it'll get struck. One of my favorite videos is the farmer racing the fire with the Eurobeat music in the background.
Oh yeah,
he's got the big row cutter behind the tractor, and he's like full pour down the line trying to like cut a ditch between the fire and his crop, and it just has Love is in danger. That's right. Love is in danger is playing in the background. And I feel my chest tighten. I'm like, come on, man, do it. You know,
like hit the slide.
Yeah. Drift the tractor. That'll help. But that's probably what's going on right now. There's probably farmers across California that are desperately cutting ditches across their land to make sure the fire can't get through. So as we go along, we'll continue to talk about that. Events are unfolding as we speak. And as you know, if you are on the West Coast, it is early in the evening and the fire is still burning brightly. So
I saw an interview where like a woman was interviewing a like an LA firefighter in the Palisades, and she was like, or he literally said like, yeah, we're currently at 0% contained, so like things are probably going to get like worse now. And then she was like, so are we out of the worst of it? And he kind of like stood there and he's like, were 0%.
Did you not just hear the words that came out of my mouth? Like,
like,
do you know what 0% contained is? It means we don't have any control over this thing at all.
You grab the camera and you're just like, you need to run. Just run. Just keep running until you meet water. All right.
Put the fire up here.
That means if I were to take a water hose right now, start spraying this line at the parking lot, that would be more contained than what we have right now.
Yeah. And they're running out of water in the fire hydrants too, and that's because budget cuts. And I have to wonder if LA will finally recall Karen Bass and maybe the city council. They got rid of Garcon in the last election, so he's gone.
And you know, it's astounding when you think about it, but it's like, for those of you guys who've never been to California, like say, you might not understand how this works.
That's me.
Where this fire is happening is so ridiculously close to the Pacific Ocean. The fact that they don't have enough water to stop the fire is really just comical at this point.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
So
it's
I have
like
to
maybe
ask.
2 miles in.
So I have to ask. Sorry for the full mouth. I have to ask.
While people are dying in LA, you're eating?
Yeah. Who would ever just be eating on a stream in such a serious situation like this?
So the situation is that I wonder, are they going to start bringing in those scoop and dump planes that they use in
they've already got them.
They already got them there.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't have like a zillion of them. That's the
Yeah, it's probably the only way they can fight the fire. Because
that's what it is. Well, the thing that I always wondered, right? Because there's this one episode of CSI where they go out into the desert and they found a diver in a tree. All right, and they were like, "How do you get there?" Blah blah blah. And he was already dead before he got there. Blah blah blah. Very bizarre. So what they found out was this guy was scooped up in one of those missions, and he was dumped out there months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he was skewered by the tree. He was literally dropped at 35,000 feet because they don't have like a body sensor in that.
No,
right?
they don't.
I mean, like, how can we possibly make this worse? Oh, I got an idea. Let's scoop up the water from the Pacific Ocean and then drop a great white shark on top of your house. That's
Yeah, right. It's like
fire.
Sharknado the fire, Sharkferno,
Sharkferno coming to sci-fi.
Right? They just can't
barbecue shark.
They just can't drop. So they got flaming sharks flopping all over the ground, eating people. They're not even flying around. They're just on fire, in agony, eating people.
How can we make this worse?
Yeah, there was the Sharkcercist, right? The Shark Exorcist.
That was one.
Where it had the flaming shark.
But Jean-Claude Van Damme is Flins and Flames.
Oh God!
I love it. But they'll do it. You can bet that they're already working. The Asylum is already working on the script right now.
Working
If
on
LA
this? They've
doesn't
already
burn
gone through
down-
like several versions of it.
If LA doesn't completely burn down, they'll be filming tomorrow in order to catch the maximum amount of usable footage they can get.
So the rodeo.
But again, like it's a rough situation, but it's also rough for Studio Splash Damage. Studio Splash Damage was scheduled to do Transformers Reactivate, but they posted this today where they said that's not going to happen. They have recently discovered that quite a few of the people within their company are on a redundancy job placement. So they're going to start clearing out a bunch of, employees and stop making this game. Hasbro was very supportive, but there will be no Transformers Reactivate now. That has been canceled. So for the foreseeable future, we will not be getting a Transformers game that will be passed on to another studio or
Maybe
completely forgotten about.
Yeah, so like that's where I was going with this. So for those of you who don't remember, because this game was announced like 3 years ago, Transformers Reactivate, it was supposed to be like an online co-op style game. Probably along the lines of like Suicide Squad, you team up with 1 to 4 players, you all take on missions, yada, yada, yada. So on one hand, I'm like, okay, it's probably so on one hand, I'm like, the reason that this is probably canceled is because everybody is tired of live service games. Nobody wants them. Several of them are being all of them are being shut down. Sony has last year they announced like 14 different live service titles. all but like 3 of them are now canceled. Like, people don't want this anymore. So I can see that playing a role here. But more than that, Cider, to your point about it being forgotten, like, if you remember, so we all know from the weeks of us talking about Power Rangers, Hasbro is not in the best place right now. They're kind of screwing up everything. They're not really successful outside of Magic, because that's where a bunch of whales are. And so because of that, like in December, in like November or something, if you'll remember, they said, hi, we're Hasbro. We're not funding any more of our projects. So like, if you want to make a movie about Transformers or Dungeons and Dragons or an animated series about Magic, talk to us and we can do licensing, but we're not going to give you any money for it. Like, you got to produce that all on your own, which is disaster. Like, what company have we ever heard say that? Like, that is just genuinely bonkers, because that also cuts down on the amount of revenue you'll get back. So is this just another instance of Hasbro going, we don't know what we're doing, cancel that game, because nothing about this makes me think like anything good happened.
Yeah, I mean, wherever you see stuff like this and they try to be very, very corporate talk about, what's actually going on behind the scenes, it's usually nothing good. I mean, kind of a parallel here is, if you guys have noticed, it's been 2 days since Raw landed on Netflix, and we still don't have any viewership numbers whatsoever. And all the insiders tell us, oh, well, the number is great. We can't tell you what it is, but we know it's great.
I don't trust you. No.
So what's going to happen is that, like, in 3 days, they're going to tell you that, oh, by the way, this was watching 60 million house homes in the course of 48 hours after the show ended. Like, what? Like,
I was going to say, there's going to be some weird little asterisk that, like, massively, like,
yeah, exactly.
40 billion people watched Raw.
40 billion people, and it's like in the course of, like, 14 days or something like that.
It's like that. It's like, actual numbers are for like people who watched Raw and like Say Yes to the Dress at the same time on Netflix. Like, they're gonna fudge it like that.
Yeah,
they always do that.
So for those of you who don't know, Netflix and WWE, right?
Yeah,
Netflix and WWE both have teamed up now to bring live wrestling, or presumably live wrestling, to Netflix. Now, this is a program that runs ads, because why not? Because Netflix is just a sham.
I still don't get it.
I mean, you're already paying anywhere between $16 to $23 a month extra now, just so you can watch a television show that's been losing viewers for the last 25 years. But now you have to pay that money and still get ads, because why not?
Well, and like old pay-per-views, you only had to buy one pay-per-view, and you could decide, like, I don't want the nothing. But yeah, like Jacob said, you have to subscribe here, and yeah, you can unsubscribe like after the day. But who's going to do that? Maybe like 40.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that we're going to continue to see grow and change as streaming asserts itself as a more than binge-worthy entertainment apparatus.
Yeah.
Netflix is fighting for its life against YouTube right now. So...
Well, here's the big problem, that the big elephant in the room that nobody in one of these like publicly traded companies want to talk about. Is that over the last 15 years, there's been a noticeable drop-off in the quality of television shows and programming that has led to people coming to the decision that they no longer need cable, right? Because back in like 2002, I think was the first year they did the digital cable expansion. That was when it was like, oh my God, 999 channels. I'll never run out of things to watch. And within 3 years, people ran out of things to watch, right? Because they just realized it wasn't worth it at that point. But here's the problem. Nobody wants to come out and admit that the reason why people are cutting the cord is because they don't find the quality of content that they're getting from cable worthy enough to pay top dollar anymore. It's like, in other words, you guys are providing trash content, but they don't want to admit that they're providing trash content. So they're just saying, oh, well, the reason why the numbers are down is because everyone's giving up on cable. It's like, okay, why is everyone giving up on cable? Like, they don't want to address the why. They just want to use that as the excuse. So now all these shows are moving to streaming under the guise that, well, if we just move to streaming, we don't have to ask the question about why people are not watching their cable shows anymore. But then when the streaming numbers start going down, then you have to start going, hey, why are the streaming numbers going down? So what's going to be the next new excuse? They haven't really figured it out yet, but if all these programs on Amazon Prime or on Netflix or Max or whatever the case may be, if they start faltering too, at some point we're going to have the uncomfortable conversation about the fact that you guys have literally driven everyone away from television because your content stinks.
No, I mean that it's true, and I mean that's every industry is suffering from that. Nobody wants to take an L. Nobody wants to admit, yeah, we're screwing up right now. It's great because we're gonna keep seeing these failures, and like Jacob said, we're gonna start seeing newer and newer ways that they try to fudge their numbers, right? And we've seen a bunch of these throughout the years. One of the ones that always sort of sticks with me is Disney and the Acolyte and whatchamacallit. So when the Acolyte came out, they dropped that on a Tuesday, which is not when you typically drop new things, right? The only people who do that is Nintendo and on new games on Tuesday, and everybody looks at them like they're crazy. Normally you do it on like Thursday, Friday night if you're a movie. But so they released Acolyte on a Tuesday and said, look, we had this isn't the worst performing opening of a Star Wars Disney show. We're coming back. We are so back. And they said the lowest one is actually Andor. And I went, I could believe that because, I know a lot of people didn't check out Andor, but let me look. And I forget one of our readers, I forget his name off the top of my head. Shout out, you know who you are. And I feel so bad. You're always sending us stuff in our mentions, but he was like, here's a fact you need to note, Spence. Andor came out on like a Wednesday at like 10 p.m.
That's when primetime is Wednesday nights. Because you got Survivor, you got I think Big Brother's on Wednesdays too, isn't it? Or is that
I have no idea. I genuinely didn't know.
But you have
I didn't know Big Brother was in the US, like actually being aired in the US until like a year ago. I genuinely thought that was only a British show.
But yeah, like the majority of primetime TV is on Wednesday. I know Fox Animation or Fox is moving some of the animated shows to Wednesdays, like Bob's Burgers. Yeah. This was announced earlier. That was announced last week, I think. Yeah, but yeah, Family Guy on Sunday. And then like Bob's Burgers, I think The Simpsons as well, and not American Dad because American Dad is TBS.
That's on TBS.
Yeah, but yeah, at least I know Bob's Burgers and Simpsons were announced to move to Wednesdays.
That's actually sort of a really weird shakeup, but yeah, no, like I'm really perturbed by that. But back to the to what Nerdigans and I were saying about Andor. It's not only was that a primetime release, so Andor had a bunch of competition in that slot, and Acolyte didn't. But that's an entire extra day of viewing that the Acolyte got over Andor. So it's not a fair comparison to say in the first week, because the first week had an extra day for the Acolyte. So we're going to start seeing more and more of that. These one thing, like guys, Jacob mentioned it, but this is a really, anytime you see a big Hollywood company or a big company in general come out and somebody asks them about their sales and they don't give you either a super like direct and like, oh, we're doing really hot right now, right? If they don't do that or give you a specific
we're on fire right now.
Yeah. If it's neither of those two answers, they are doing awfully. Like it is not doing well. For example, there's the Raw stuff from, or it's Raw, right? That we're talking about on Netflix. Yeah. There's like the Raw stuff Jacob's talking about. If you guys remember in December, the Dragon Age Veilguard team did an interview with Eurogamer, and Eurogamer was like, how are sales? Like, how's the reception been? And their answer was, they haven't been the best, but we're really excited about where we are and the potential for it to grow. And I'm like, immediately know that you are not selling enough. Like, that is a bad statement.
Well, and we have it on screen right here with people. Jacob tells us how wrestling has switched its demographics over the years. That
which is so weird.
What once was NASCAR Americans has now been replaced with your friends, cast of friends.
In the not even worse than that, more like the cast of Euphoria. If I'm being completely honest.
Okay, the cast of Euphoria.
Oh no,
yeah, it's that bad.
Coming too, Euphoria. I think it's like what, season 3.
Yeah,
that got announced.
So wrestling went from kind of, like I said, Southern rednecks who thought that wrestling was real back in like the 70s and the 80s, and then kind of dissipated a little bit. Then they had a boom again in the late 90s where it was like mostly like college age frat bros that were going to watch WWE, and that was a thing for a while. Then it died off again. Then Vince McMahon was like, you know what, we're gonna be PG, and then we're gonna bring the kids to the show. Yeah, pal.
Who made that call? Who made that call? Was that
it? Was WWE made that call, and it was right after the Chris Benoit murders, because when Benoit killed his family, that gave a lot of negative press to WWE, so they tried to rebrand as a more family. Yeah, because I mean, when a guy kills his wife and 8-year-old, tend to get pretty bad.
A giant memorial ceremony for him.
And then you find out 2 hours into the memorial that he's the one who did it. it's like, oops.
What? Wait a minute.
No, that actually happened. That legitimately happened.
They didn't know.
I'll tell the story. So
you got this one.
So when the Benoit murder, okay, so here's what happened. Benoit was supposed to be at a pay-per-view that weekend. There was a pay-per-view of like ECW or something like that, and he no-showed. So they were calling, and they couldn't get any answer from him whatsoever. They sent somebody down to check on Benoit and his family, and that's when they discovered.
Wasn't it like Ed? No, it wasn't Ed. I forget. It was somebody. It was like one of his friends. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it might have been Chavo Guerrero, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's right. I think it's Chavo.
Yeah, so they sent somebody there, and that's when they found Benoit, his wife, and his son all dead, right? So WWE, just going off of the information that, the Benoit family is dead, decided that they were going to run a 2-hour tribute show to Benoit on Monday Night Raw the very next night. It's so bad that there was a storyline, by the way, that Vince McMahon was supposed to be dead, and because Benoit died for real, he had to come back on TV to reveal he's not dead, to kill that storyline to give tribute to Benoit. So
and by the way, guys, like Vince didn't even come out and like put a story end to it. He literally just came out and was like, "I'm alive." Like, he was just kind of like,
it's like, because turns out one of my guys died for real, so I gotta end this whole storylines. So they're doing this whole tribute for Benoit. They're replaying all his old matches. Not even making this up. About 2 hours into the tribute, news reports come out that, this looks like a murder-suicide, and Benoit was the one who did the murdering. So they find this out as the show is going on, and I was like, so we got a double murder situation happening here. And it's like, oops. And then so the very next night on ECW, Vince McMahon had to go out and make another statement basically saying, we're sorry about that tribute we did last night. We didn't know all the information. So
actually moving
time. So moving forward, we're not going to mention Chris Benoit ever again in our programming. And they literally did not.
if you know, like Vince McMahon, it was the most like professional and composed he's ever been. Like, that's how you know it was serious. Like, it's the only time he's ever been like a businessman.
Nobody hit him over the head with a chair. At the
yeah.
Feet, you know,
he wasn't like beady eyed. Like, I'll get you. Let's have a fight. Let's do it.
I'm gonna go to hell and I'm gonna beat Chris Benoit's ass.
But yeah, man, I wish I could have been. I want to be like a fly in that room when they all find out. Like, hey, Vince.
Yeah.
Hold on. I think we can actually play this because, like I said, this is not something that WWE wants to claim.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. We're pretty close.
I don't know, 'cause it's just the whole tone of it.
Let's try to play it, and then if they hit us, we'll just cut it out real fast.
Yeah, we'll cut it.
Yeah.
So if the stream cuts out, just hold off. We'll be back in a minute because that's where it goes. But yeah, this is literally
as long as we keep talking, we'll probably be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I've noticed that helps us out over it.
Here we go.
So yeah, 2007.
So by the way, they were supposed to do an episode of Raw that night, but when they found out Benoit died, they canceled the show. So that's why it's an empty arena.
So remember, this is like what everything opens to for viewers. They don't.
Yeah.
They know Benoit's gone. They don't know, or some of them knew he was gone, but they don't know that this is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, just crazy to see.
We probably should have waited for that investigation before running the shots.
You know that's what's going through his head this entire time. He's like, please don't bring this up. Please don't bring up what I did.
We here in the WWE can only offer our condolences to the extended family of Chris Benoit.
So this is literally what they did, and they started a whole tribute show about Benoit. They had all the wrestlers crying and doing all the whole thing about how Benoit was this nice guy, and then all this stuff, and they like literally like I think they were replaying the WrestleMania 20 match that they had where he won the belt, and that was when like the news got out that oh yeah he did this, and literally they did the last hour was just playing his matches. They stopped doing testimonials. They stopped talking about Benoit. It was like oh this is bad. At that point, it's way too late to shift gears. Be like, oh, never mind. I guess Benoit was a dickhead. I guess we're gonna go back to this.
That's where like it's funny to me, but I don't necessarily like get mad at like Vince or anybody for putting it on because like it's the Karen Bass situation. Like, what you don't know? Like that's so far out of everybody's mind that it's like like if it happened here, like Jacob's dead, I would and if that's what you did, I would never assume that. The craziest thing I assume is like, oh. He decided to have one last hedonistic blowout before becoming a pastor, and it took him out.
It turns out he ended up was involved in a mass shooting, and like 18 people were dead. It's like, oops.
Oh man!
We're gonna have to remove this one from the archives and delete all the footage of him on
I know that. So like he's still completely like banned from all mention there, right? Like I'm
they still don't mention Benoit at all
because I see a lot of debate. Somebody just got like brought back. I think it might have even been like Hogan got like brought back into the fold, and everybody's like, if you can forgive them, like you forgive Benoit, and it's like little different, guys.
Yeah, like, there are a lot of people like that too, and it's like, guys, look, I get it. You're mad because Hogan said the N-word in the sex tape 20 years ago. There's a difference between saying the N-word and double murder.
Like
I didn't know I had to like say that. I just kind of assumed that we knew.
I thought we all kind of knew that, but this okay. It's 2025. Let's get a refresher going.
What were we gonna say, Cider?
Nothing. You guys were doing your thing there, so I just adding flavor to the wrestling conversation.
Yeah, but the story there is, like I said, they were in LA on Monday, and Hogan came back, and all the fans in LA booed him because obviously he just recently came out and supported Donald Trump. He did the whole speech at the RNC where he ripped off the shirt and said, "Let me tell you something, brother," and then went that whole thing, and so. This is the parallel here with like wrestling fans. They say this is kind of what I was mentioning before we mentioned the Benoit thing. Is that, like I said, it used to be kind of like redneck Southern people. Then it was like the 18 to 34 like college dude bros for a while. Then after the Benoit situation, it became all about whoa, it's all about the kids now, and then the PG era and whatnot. And in the course of the PG era, WWE shifted its focus to mainly 3 cities, which was Chicago, New York City, and Philadelphia. And as of course, when you focus majority of your fan base in those 3 cities, you're going to get a lot of left-wing liberal people in your fan base. And that's pretty much the amount of people who are there now. So WWE's fan base who are still left to this day are very, very left-wing, very, very progressive. They're basically just as bad as the comic book SJWs or the anime SJWs. They're basically like the same group of people these days when it comes down to it. And the other big difference is that, this really is not a good thing in the grand scheme of things, because WWE thinks that it's a braggable point that, if you look at, our fan base now, half the fan base is women, right? And you think that, that's such great progress. But it's like, that's really not progress, because if you look back on where your audience was in the Attitude Era about 25 years ago, when it was majority 18 to 34 men, and they had 6 or 7 million people watching their weekly show, now they're about a 1.6 average. And if half of those are women, that means that you guys have literally lost millions upon millions of men in the course of 20 years. That's not a good thing. That means that basically anyone who was watching this thing 2 or 3 decades ago, they're gone. They're just completely gone.
They
and all
don't
we
care
have
anymore.
And all you have left are, the people in LA who booed Hulk Hogan, last night. And I made this point on Twitter, and that people tried to get mad at me because the wrestling fan base, but it's legit. WWE has a fan base right now where they legitimately hate and despise everyone who contributed to making WWE what it is today, because they hate Vince McMahon right now because Vince McMahon's being accused of sexual misconduct with a woman that he was having an affair with. So that's an ongoing situation. So they hate Vince McMahon. They hate Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan said the N-word 20 years ago. They hate the Attitude Era because, you know, they try to pretend like this era is much better and that one wasn't as good as everyone made it out to be. They don't like the 2000s wrestling era because, you know, that they were bra and panties matches and stuff like that during that time period. And we're done with that misogynist stuff. You clearly hate the 80s because Hogan and McMahon were involved with it. So it's like the current WWE audience literally hates anything revolving WWE outside of like the last 10 years. And it's very, very weird that they've given up their fan base to a group of people who hate the majority of things that they've actually done.
Well, it's not even just like the majority of things, that particular, what do you call it? Promotion, that, right? That's what you call it, like the WWE, like that promotion. It's not even what they do specifically. I've been seeing this from I've been following this through your Twitter account, obviously, but like I don't know what it is, but in the last 6 months or so, there's been a significant rise in people going like, who cares about the in-ring stuff? Get to the talking parts. And it's like, why are you even watching wrestling if you don't want to watch the wrestling part of the wrestling show? Like,
Well, here's the problem with that line of thinking, because a lot of people are like, I don't come here to watch wrestling for the storylines and the characters in the backstage. I just want to watch the in-ring action. It's like, well, here's the problem. Most people in 2025 know that wrestling is not real. This is not a real match in real competition. The way that this whole thing used to work is that you would tell a storyline between interesting characters that made people care about the fake fight that was going to happen later on that night. Now you guys are just having the fake fights and nobody cares because you guys are the only ones acting like this thing is actually real.
So it's them. It's just an entirely weird thing. Cause you're right. Like they don't like, or let me rephrase this. I've never seen that mentality of like neoliberal people who go, oh, that's a cool, like, I like that thing, but I hate everything about it, but I still want to enjoy it. Like I see things all the time where I'm like, that looks cool. That, you know, oh, that's a cool looking game. That's a good looking movie. Oh, it's got that. I'm not really interested. It's not for me.
Yeah, it's not. All you guys, like I said, from people who are fans of video games, fans of comic books, you've all have seen this. Like you've all seen, like, you know, your favorite franchises or your social media, your mediums or whatever, be taken over by a group of people who don't even like the original stuff that made you a fan to begin with. I mean, a perfect example of that is like Mortal Kombat. Now they have this weirdo NetherRealm studio people who are all been assembled because they saw Mortal Kombat 9 and got offended that all the female characters were sexy. It's like, oh, we need to course correct all of this because that was bad and misogynistic and we don't like all that stuff now, so we're going to change it to something that's more for the quote-unquote the modern audience, that favorite term that we all like to use here. I mean, you can use a number of examples, but this is essentially like what's happened in a bunch of mediums, and pro wrestling is no different than any of them all. So
something I've been saying is, you know, these neoliberals and these feminists say that there's a war on women. Yeah, you caused the war on women. You're erasing women from freaking mythology and Dungeons and Dragons, for fuck's sake. They're saying that succubus and incubi are genderless and that there's male dryads. Now, if you know your mythology, you know that succubus is female and that an incubi is the male version of it. So why make it genderless? Males, dryads are female from the Greek female spirit.
This is what's happening here to all of this. Like this is what I talk about this all the time, and it's the motivating force behind tourists, whether they're anime tourists, video game, wrestling, whatever. It's that over the past few years, the entire stigma of like, oh, comic books, video games, wrestling, that's weird, you're dumb, that all faded away as people just sort of realized like, yeah, okay, it is sort of normalized. You know, wrestlers became movie stars and comic book movies became the big thing. And now video games are the big industry. These people don't really care about this stuff, but what they care about is sort of the, what do you call it? Like the perception of liking it. They want, again, fans of being fans of things. Mm-hmm. They want to like WWE so that they can go, oh yeah, I'm a WWE fan just like everybody else. Like, oh yeah, I love this big thing. but in order for them to,
and then someone goes, "Oh, did you like the golden era in the '80s with Hulk Hogan?" It's like, I hate Hulk Hogan. It's like, okay, well, what about the Attitude Era? It's like, I don't like the Attitude Era. There weren't enough good matches, and women wrestled in bikinis. It's like, well, what about the two? You don't like that? You're a WWE fan? Because it seems like you don't like anything.
Right, exactly. And so, again, the big problem is that studios keep listening to these types of people. They don't discern whether they're. One of the biggest things is that all of the market research essentially done by all of these big companies doesn't take into account context. It just sees, are you talking about WWE? Oh, here's a tweet from an account that's called Society Reviews, and it has the word WWE in it twice. That's a positive. Mark up 2 of that, even though Jacob's tweet said, the WWE. I hate the WWE. I'm never watching the WWE again. They see that as a positive. And so until we get back in the days of like, just get like, if we're going to be Nepo babies and everything, have these executives hire their kids out of college to just be like, what's currently going on? My son's a big video game player. Here's, $20 for the day. Come over and tell us what's going on. Is this going to be a good thing? Is this going to be a bad thing? What are people saying? Nobody does that anymore. And they just go, oh, but the numbers say, and the numbers never pan out.
No, we got the numbers. But as Nerdigans pointed out, much similar what you're dealing with the audience there, so too D&D has made a decision to embrace the squeaky wheel that necessarily might not need the oil. These are the people that have decided that the orcs are anything but an adversary and have decided to not only make them some type of avatar for African culture, but also westernized, I wouldn't say Western, Americanized Hispanic culture, because if you talk to most people who are of Mexican descent, the representation that D&D has put out has been like the Speedy Gonzalez version of Mexican culture, and so it's like the most like taco truck version they could put out. And no,
because here's the difference.
Yeah, Speedy we actually Gonzalez, like roach coaches.
Yeah, well, that too, but like. Mexicans love Speedy Gonzalez, even though it's playing into, I guess you could go so far as to say stereotype, but they see it and they're like, oh yeah, that is essentially, that's true. We all know somebody like that. What D&D is essentially doing, like Mexican blackface, where they're going, our orcs are brown and they love tacos and burritos. And look, they have familia. And it's just like, oh, this is like offensive. Like, do you guys realize what you're doing?
Well, and that no, they don't, because they again we've arrived at that. It's the same thing that happened to Barbie. They go so far woke, they circle back to based. And that's the problem, is that they're going to start giving us bandit orcs. So here we are, their adversaries, walking around with their holy frijoles mustaches and their bandoliers and their sombreros, like that character that was banned from the Frito-Lay advertisements. Yep. There's going to be an orc that shows up like that. Because they can't help themselves. These are the same people that rooted for 40K to start putting out children's books. Okay, so these are the same people.
Well, these are the same people. We see it all the time, right? Like they came to be, we want to be inoffensive. We want to represent you all correctly. And then they just end up being the most racist person you possibly could be, right? Like
it's that
this is the same type of person who goes, Latinx, everybody should be Latinx, and like Latin people go, no, we shouldn't, and they go, yes, you should. You don't know.
It's that meme of the two soy jacks talking about the two NPCs talking about racism and how they need to work it out of media, and then there's a picture of Goku flexing, and every nationality is like, that's me.
Representation.
And that's what this is that like there's obviously dudes and ladies that are involved in here that have a fetish for transsexuals, trans identity, erasing the female form. And that's why they chose succubus and not incubus. No,
they said incubus is gender.
They got both of them.
Okay, so I don't know how you do that to begin with, because like an incubus with male features is still an incubus. You can say it's genderless, but everyone's gonna look at it. That's a dude. They're just gonna look at that. That's a dude. And so it's like, you can make him skinnier. It's still a dude. It's just, I don't understand. Oh, he's a demon with curvy hips. Okay, he's still a dude. You know. Oh no, he has feminine features and he's a demon.
Well, it's like
he's
the
still
whole
a
thing with
dude.
video games, right? Like, are you type A or type B? Well, only type B can wear skirts, and you can't see type A's or you can't see type B's chest.
And I have to laugh because when they did that, right now, male and female has been presented as equal as long as egalitarian has existed in the way that God wants to judge us when Adam and Eve were first created, right? We were told that, like, BT dubs, guys, you're going to be judged equally. Eve's not inferior to you in the grand scheme. And so somehow along the way, we've just decided that that can't be, that both sides of this arena, but mind you, one side wants to slap them in burkas, the other side just wants to tell them to be they, thems and wear baggy clothes and try to grow a mustache. So it's like both ends of this don't want a woman. What's happening here? You know?
As much as the woke right wants to claim that they want a woman, it's like, dude, you want to ban art that looks like porn to you. Stop it. You are full of crap.
And again, I mean, like, we're back to that where's the line? You won't get a wokey to admit where the line is because they won't sit there and condemn a woman in, like, view of anybody that can report it back to their other people. But in private, they'll talk all kinds of smack about
let you know.
characters.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
I mean, the anime scene. Look, if you go on anime and manga Twitter, you see these tourists come in and say, "Oh, she's 15. You're a pervert if you like that." It's like, it's a drawing. Like, shut up.
I think you think there's a little more action that needs to happen there, but I'm not one of those guys that runs down that lane too often, so I can't speak to it in any
the best example is there in My Hero Academia, there was someone that tweeted one of the scenes where they're in the baths and they're like, that all underage, you guys are pervs for liking this, and fan service is pedophilic. And I'm like, everyone's looking at him like, shut
it doesn't
up,
here's
dude.
the problem. Like, I tell you this every week, but you've got to start ignoring these people because they're all projecting, and it's all anybody who goes on to you about this is pornography, you need to cover up, or oh my gosh, you're just gooners. They are all the ones.
Not that we know anyone like that.
No, not we know zero people, but a hypothetical person who exists like this.
Yes.
They are that anytime somebody says that to you, they're pretty much just admitting I can't handle this, right? If you're going, I need to ban this, you need to ban this. They don't know you, they know themselves, and they're going, I see that it makes me, sin or whatever, and so we got to get rid of it. So it's like don't listen to them, ignore them.
I usually ignore them, but for some of them, I got to expose them because they say that on their profile that they're pro-American and they're calling for an unconstitutional ban. So it's like, dude.
But here's again, I get it.
I should have just straight up ignored them, but for some of them, yeah.
So your time can be spent so much better, right? Than going and running down 14-year-olds who you're not going to change their opinion.
No, I'm not talking about 14-year-olds. I'm talking about grown adults.
It doesn't either way. Anybody. The amount of times I've seen somebody, get got like, oh, you shouldn't like this character. Well, you like a similar character. What do you think? And then they just keep going and posting like nothing happened. It's all the time. You can spend that time, nerdigans, that you would have spent going through their profile, looking for all this stuff, play a game, watch an anime, go get a harness for Xeno.
I think he's saying stop being terminally online, nerdigans.
No, I'm terminally online. You can be terminally online. Just,
I mean, you got a job. That's not. It don't count if you're actually getting paid to do so. So
that's a little true.
That is true.
But Jacob found a video here of Joe Rogan, and that'll probably close it out for today.
Yeah, we can close it out with this one here because this is pretty perfect.
Whoops, we did it again.
There we go. Of what's happening in LA right now. Keep in mind that your video on the left you see is from last July, and then here we are now.
I talked to a fireman once. This is one of the reasons that freaked me out. And he was telling me, he goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind, and fire's going to start in the right place, and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean, and there's not a fucking thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA, and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. and the wind's just blowing embers through the air, and those embers are landing on roofs, and those houses are going up, and they're landing on bushes, and those bushes are going up, and everything's dry. And once it happens in a way where it's so spread out that there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
You just have to evacuate, right?
Nothing they can do.
Yep.
He's right about that fireman is right, is in Southern California, specifically because of the Santa Ana winds. Those winds are strong and they will move that fire really, really quick. On top of that, you have the brush that's really high. If you don't, that's why I'm emphasizing, if you live in an area in California where it's rural, mow down your brush, because it's my parents do, my mom and my stepdad do, and they mow down their brush, and there's fires over there all the time too, and they don't get affected by the fires at all because my stepdad mows down his 10 acres of land like every week.
Well,
I mean, some people prepare, then some people don't. Unfortunately, that's kind of the way things are.
Well, and that's you know, the only thing that's really a silver lining to it all, I guess is the best way to put it, is that California is going to go through a facelift because of this. It'll lead to a big change on just about every municipality. Yeah, it'll lead to just about every municipality updating their fire response. Now, that could lead to LA just purchasing an entire fleet of flying dumpers, whatever those planes are called. Just
that's what I'm calling them now.
Flying dumpers. I don't know what they're called, but whatever they are. But that just buying a whole bunch of those, it might result in that. But more than likely, a lot of civil engineering is going to take place, and
especially because they're going to have to rebuild like 98% of it.
The water treatment facility will probably no longer be delayed. So the situation is that we did have Tencent brought up here, and I did want to make sure that we mention that Tencent was labeled by the U.S. Department of Defense as a military supply company. So
yes,
yep, and they're suing too.
So yeah, they are. This was a topic brought up by Netflix's Foreign in our chat, and I wanted to make sure to hit this before we signed off. So in case you guys didn't see the news, so every year, long story short, because civics the American government has way too much red tape and it's stupid, and that's a whole other discussion we can have. But every year we have to pass, our Congress has to pass both a federal military funding bill and then a federal allocation act to go with it. Basically, one says this is how we want to use everything, and then the other, once the other sections of Congress get it, they say, cool, you can have the money. We agree with that plan. In 2020, the budget had a stipulation that if this passes for the next 10 years, the Secretary of Defense. So if you guys remember, in 2020, President Trump said, hey, I'm noticing that there's a lot of foreign, like Chinese investment in America, and all of that stuff goes straight to their military. Let's cut that out. We're not going to do that anymore. And he did an executive order that said Americans are no longer allowed to do business or invest rather in any company that's associated with the Chinese military. In the defense bill for 2020, there was a stipulation that said, hey, for the next 10 years, the Secretary of Defense annually has to give us a report of the new companies they've identified as a Chinese military group. This week, we got our first update for 2025. On that list was a bunch of companies, including Tencent. Now, Tencent, as we all know, on its surface, is not a military company. They are an entertainment conglomerate. They do movies, music, video games, all that sort of stuff. So to that end, so what happens when you get that designation is basically you can't do business with American investors. And that's not necessarily retail investors, but they're talking about like 500 people throwing millions of dollars around, right? Like the big boys, because that's instant money that would go and be usable by the military. Now, and you know, in the coming years, there's a lot more stipulations and regulations that are coming down the pipe. You can look them all up if you want. It's basically just shutting China out of our country, which is kind of a good thing. But yeah, so Tencent got that designation and they said, hey, that's not us, but we're going to fight this. And there are steps that you can take to work with the government and be like, hey, like appeal essentially and say, hey, that's wrong. Let's talk about it. That's what Tencent says they're going to do. Now, here's the thing. Even though they don't seem like they are a military company on the surface and they don't outwardly have any business like that. This is China we're talking about,
Yep.
where every company is basically an arm of the state. A CCP member has to be working at any business that gets established within China. So that's a big issue right there on its own. But I think when it comes to Tencent, the bigger concern is the technology security, right? Because they make hardware, they make flash drives, they make microchips, they make all of this stuff where, you know, if this is literally what happened to kill Iran's nuclear program back in like 2012. The CIA made up a whole worm that would go in and wait for like 4 years and then subtly change the like nuclear stuff that they were doing in there so that all of the reactions would be wrong. And the way they got it into the nuclear like facility is they just had a guy go, they put it in a flash drive, put it in its packaging, and they went and they put it in the storefront, like the mini mart across the street from the nuclear development facility. They waited for like 8 years. One guy bought that flash drive because he was like, he needed it for work, plugged it into his computer, boom, done. So like, to me, that's where even if they're saying, oh, we're not military company, don't trust anybody who has access to like your internal hardware for your electronics, right? That's my big or that is the big concern, not just mine, but it's your information technology. It's, again, info is the most powerful weapon, even if it's just, oh, here's where Cider is at all times of day. Okay, that's one citizen, but now if they get a map of everybody, they can go, here's what Maine does. We can strike Maine at this time, or whatever they want to do. So that's what's happening with Tencent right now. In regards to Netflix's Foreign's question, he asked, you know, are any of the companies that Tencent owns, from from software to Riot Games to all of them, are they going to be affected by this? And the answer is operationally no, because they are still, you're still buying from them, but you're not investing in them. So realistically, I pay $5 for a skin in League of Legends, which I don't, because I have better taste than that. Barely better, but still better. And maybe 20 cents of that goes to the government, as opposed to, like I was saying, the 50,000 immediate investment they can get from a big shot. So none of that will probably change. We'll still probably be able to play, video games, because realistically, guys, there's no way you can do ban on everything from China. Everything here has touched China in some way.
The way that this works is it's a shot across the bow. It doesn't affect anything other than it effectively labels this as a no-go for DoD contractors and government contractors that are of a certain clearance level, that you are no longer allowed to interact with this in a monetary, financial, or any way that you or they would benefit from your interaction. You can say hi to them on the street. You can go to a Christmas party with them. You cannot exchange gifts. That's how that works. So that's how that works. You and I, as civilians, we are free to buy and sell whatever there is associated with their properties. What we are not allowed to do as civilians is, again, put lots of money into them. Like directly say, here's $50,000, Tencent, we like you very much. We can't do that. Your ability to play these games will not be impeded unless Tencent continues harvesting this data and taking it offshore. If they build a data center in Wyoming, they will be within the DoD's accessibility realm, because that data will not be going to Beijing directly. They may have access to it, but the DoD will have to
who's
do
building that? You're talking about the one from America, right? That Trump just talked about?
No, I'm just saying, like, if Tencent built one in Wyoming,
hypothetical. Okay.
If they built one in Wyoming, that would be that they would have to open an investigation into that then to find the CCP's connection, but it would be in compliance with what the government wants them to do, which is stop taking the data offshore.
Yeah.
So that, because again, they can't control it once it leaves here. We can control things most of the way here. That's the whole point we had that trial with Zuckerberg over.
Yeah.
What is the right of privacy when you have a social media network? So this is a sort of a further extension of that, in that the government's like, hell, we got these programs that like pay attention to where the fuck you go and how long you stay there, whether you got them on or not. What the hell is this?
Where are you going now?
Yeah, and they haven't quite caught on that Google does that. You know, they haven't quite figured that part out yet, but they will. They're bringing Google up to be like, hey, now you own this YouTube thing, and then on over here, there's this Google thing. And that means that most of the content on your Google thing is made by your YouTube thing. That's called one of those conflict of interest, son. You know, and so.
And they go, no, that company's now Google, and we're Alphabet.
Yeah, right. And so that's the thing, is that they're going to have to split up, and Tencent will be forced to split up because they are, I believe, the majority shareholder, if not the publisher of TikTok. So they're going to have to either let go of that completely or let go of the CCP. They have a decision to make, and it's not going to be pretty because TikTok is the backbone of Tencent's like marketing and exporting. And it is essentially their ability to reach the youth, you know, and if without it, they're done. So as far as, again, like you and I, nothing's going to change. If Tencent fails to do the TikTok route, the US will remove their ownership of it. The thing is Tencent's not protected by our constitution. They are a guest in our country, and they are disobeying what we want them to do while they're here within reasonable. We're asking reasonable things, and they are disobeying that. And so we can strip them of their ownership of this and take it if we wish to, because this, again, we have allowed this thing to exist here, and it is not doing what it was initially told to us it would do.
And even more than that, it's actively subverting our country. Like this isn't even a conspiracy thing. Cider talks about it all the time. Jacob Nerdigans, we all do. The version of TikTok in China is an actual like educational, improve yourself social media site. Yeah, it's boring. In here, over here they specifically fostered this bizarre
sensational content.
Yeah, what I mean, sensational. All of the like. Let's fight everybody over the stupidest little disagreement.
You've seen those videos of the two guys wearing pantyhose on their heads, beating each over their heads with pool noodles and flipping a bottle. Well, that came from TikTok.
Yep. And why they go, China gives that to us, and then we get dumber, and then they can just walk over our borders and say, oh no, we've always been here. Now turn around.
Yeah, and that's face the wall. And that's the situation we're facing right now. And this is before Trump gets in office. So
it is
a lot of dramatic things are happening on the heels of Biden's administration. And I just have to wonder if how much of this was already known and wasn't going to be made known to us had Trump not won the election. Because this is just a very strange thing for the DoD to be like, all right, beginning of the year, time to screw with China. Just before the Chinese New Year, that's a real good time to ring their bell. So I feel like that's strange.
Well, as I noted before, so this is from Trump's first term. Like he was the one who sort of got this ball rolling, and they passed that stipulation for the Secretary of Defense to do the investigation every year because of that. So that's why it came around. And I think the reason it kind of blew up and it caught all of this particular attention is because this one has Tencent. They, like this same list has about 200 other names, but you don't know Xingzhou Concrete. Like who knows what they do, right? So there's nothing to really. That's not for us. That's for like the DoD and other real rich business people. But once we saw a video game there, we all went, "Hey, we know them. Of course, they're stealing our information." Yeah. But to that end, like to your point, I hope we see more of it because like. I feel like we didn't go really as hard on China as we should have been in the last 4 years. And so like, this is a leftover Trump thing. He's coming back. Let's hope this is just part of keeping the pressure on.
We'll have to see what happens. I know that the trade tariffs are not just going to be on like rice and nails and tires. They're going to be on digital things. So that's going to really hamper China's ability to penetrate the digital market.
I mean, isn't it like a blanket ban on everything? So wouldn't it like, or are there exceptions? Because then wouldn't it be easier to be like, oh yeah, you can't buy anything except for, I don't know, like a CCP jersey.
Well, the ban isn't in place. There's no ban yet. I'm talking about tariff and what Trump wants to put in place of these.
I meant tariff. Isn't it everything?
It's everything. Right? Everything that will come from outside receives a certain tariff, and Trump wants to really hammer China this time around. So, And again, like this will be the electronics part of it because he wants to keep us competitive internally with the chip thing. Now that Biden's got the ball rolling on that. So what I have to tell you is that we are looking at the Russians putting together a gaming console. I would not be surprised if the Americans tried to put together a new one as well.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, I would not buy that. It will
no.
I'm put it in your house.
Well,
the reason
Xbox
why I would have
dying, so Xbox is dying, so they need a new console. Will Microsoft be the head of it? I don't know.
I don't think so.
The Slav box? Hell yeah, let's go. Never mind.
I call it the Biliat box.
Yeah, the Biliat box. That's what it was. I was trying to remember.
Box. We can't say that word, but yeah. You're right, Nerdigans, that they're falling out. They're falling out, and there will be a replacement. I don't think it'll be Microsoft that does it. I think they've been buying up a bunch of studios. They want to be a publisher. They want to be a publisher, and that's why they're letting the Xbox kind of lag, is because it's not their focus. It's being a publisher is their thing. So I think you might have another good shot at like a Ouya kind of revival situation where some independent crowdfunder puts together something that, you know, carries its weight. You know, it can play the horsepower war with Sony, and then from there attracts investors. We saw Eric July launch a comic book universe and then launch another comic book universe within that comic book universe just a few days ago. So I fully believe it's possible for an independent in this market to stand up and say, hey man, I got this cool console that I built. My friends have been making games for it. We got like 2. Do you mind throwing $100 our way so we can get this thing built and mass produced? I don't know. That might work.
You're right that there is like an opportunity for somebody to come in and maybe, like, you know, sweep the floor, but it's really bad to use like the Ouya as a comparison because that was a scam. But it's the only one I could think of because it's not like Anaconda was going to be anything that what about the soldier box?
Yeah, the soldier.
Well, you know
box.
what though? I have to wonder. Do you guys think Steam Deck has effectively replaced Xbox? Because that's what it seems like to me from what I've been hearing.
No, I want to say that it's going to be the competitor to Switch because Xbox players aren't lap players. They want a controller and they want to sit and play at a screen. They don't want to have the screen in their lap. The Steam Deck is the Switch competitor because Switch is the only one that says, "Hey, do you want to play CS:GO while you're taking a poop? We got you go.
We have a deal for you." Yeah.
You know, you can play PUBG while you're dropping a G. All right. You know, and that's one of those things. And so that's where the Steam Deck comes in and it says, hey, we're not trapped in Nintendo games. You can play these cool things like Gmod while you're at a camping ground. You know, you got your friends doing a scary map while you're on a scary map in the woods, you know. So long as you have an internet connection, you're good to fly, you know, or unless you download the game on there and then you're good to go anywhere. So it is a competitor to the Switch because Xbox players are sit down, give me my Mountain Dew, give me my Doritos. I'm going to teabag this guy in Halo for the next 8 hours, you know?
It's very true.
And that's how it is. And so that'll be the contender, somebody that can meet that. That's like, the PlayStation always had that supercar kind of attitude about it, the Aston Martin, Bugatti Veyron energy about it, that we're very prestigious and chromy and beautiful to look at, and the light sparkles off the edges of our design. And Xbox was like, y'all like these cool ass video games? You want them loud as fuck?
Yeah,
we got them right here, buddy.
You want this to blow out your eardrums?
Yeah, exactly. And that
you're not playing this on a 90-inch screen? Fuck you.
Xbox was like, here's a monster truck. You know, that's how they
answered a monster truck too.
Nintendo was like, we got our neat little drifting A83 going down the mountainside. It'll take a corner real goddamn well, but a straightaway, you'll eat it alive. But that
car has been running for like 40 years.
Sony, meanwhile, they're like, you can do 1,000 miles an hour in a straight line, you know, really well, but you drift off that line, it might light on fire, you know? And meanwhile, Xbox was like, here's a monster truck. It makes a lot of noise, you know, and that's
right.
that was
just like a monster truck, it dies off. Well, a Hummer was the first thing that I thought
put
of.
the high beams on
How's
them.
that? I'm not saying that it was a supercar. It's how they presented themselves.
Yeah.
The energy around it was like, you've heard of the Bentley? How about the PlayStation? You know, and Xbox came in and they're like,
how about, you know, something more mature?
Xbox came in and they're like, here's a gravedigger of consoles. You know, it makes a lot of noise.
Essentially what it was like, PlayStation was that brand, like, you're the person who actually like matures and like, okay, I'm gonna get like a new style. I need to grow up. I need to be, you know, dress a little nicer. And now I'm gonna go present myself and I'm stylish and I'm like James Bond slick. Xbox is like his friend who goes, I want to grow up too. But instead of going to like get a tuxedo, he goes to like the tap out outlet store. And then he comes back and he's got like the puka shells and the backwards hat. And he's like, let's play. We're adults, right, bro? And it's like different kind of adults, man.
It is absolutely, yeah. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying the energy of how they presented themselves is how it came across to us this way, that there was a very prim and proper way to game. And then Xbox was like, I'm just going to smear shit everywhere. It's all over the place, pal, and we're going to have fun. And that's how it originally was. Now it's just like, this is an Xbox. It's not a PlayStation or a Nintendo.
Well, they have that stupid ad campaign that we've all seen where it's like, this is not an Xbox. This is an Xbox. This is an Xbox. And it's like, you know, this is not an Xbox and it's a cat, but it's like, this is an Xbox and it's your phone, because they're trying to be, they don't, like you said, Cider, they want to be a publisher. They want to just sort of put their games on other platforms.
Right. No, Bowsette. I'm not talking about the machine. Yeah, absolutely. The PS4 sounds like it's about to take off sometimes. Absolutely.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It's ridiculous. I'm talking about the games themselves. PlayStation was like, they did the Final Fantasy stuff. They weren't really into like the heavy metal. PlayStation like and heavy metal didn't come around until like Devil May Cry and things like that. It was a lot of like really floaty orchestral music, and techno was what flavored their thing most of the time. And then Xbox came through with like that hard heavy metal, you know, really making sure to be like, this is America. I will punch you if you don't like this. Mountain Dew.
That's actually the best comparison, is like, we are an American video game brand who makes American video games for Americans.
Exactly. And that was the big, that's what I mean about being loud, is that every game that Xbox produced that was exclusive to the Xbox was just like, this is an Xbox game. Can you hear the America? You know, and that was cool. That was fun. That was amazing for like somebody that came up with Nintendo. And then all of a sudden had like this a very American spirit, just like played out right in front. And then they're like, hey, you want to go live and be American with your friends? And we're like, what? I could do this? And they're like, yeah, we have a high-speed internet connection.
A whole new world of slurs? I didn't think it was possible.
I don't even know what a moon cricket is.
Oh, let me write this down.
It is true, though. That Xbox Live did bring in a whole new world of slurs.
A whole new world.
I heard Jungle Bunny and I came running back.
Jacob, I shit you not. I was 25 years old till I found out that was a racial slur. My parents used to tell me, you need to shut off that Jungle Bunny music, okay? Right? And I always thought it was just like, it was just a rabbit with a drum
a euphemism,
in the woods.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know until I encountered a black guy. And
so what you're saying, Cider, is that you're literally the scene from Clerks 2. He's like, porch monkeys and racists?
My grandma used to say it all the time.
And then Medicare shows up a year ago and he's like, let me talk to you about the moon crickets. And I'm like, the what? What the hell is that? What did they have to do with a moon or a cricket?
Oh, man.
I'm just so lost.
And that's probably a good way to go ahead and close up this episode.
The most cancelable episode we've ever done.
I'm so lost. Like, I was 25 and I was at a hotel and I was down at the ice machine and the music was on there because they were like those feng shui in the hallways. And I'm like, it's really weird the hotels play Jungle Bunny music now. And this guy, he was like at the vending machine. He's like, the He was laughing at me like, the what?
Cider's the type of person. Cider's the type of person that sits there and go, "Why are the sharks playing in the mud? I don't get it."
My cat is so lost by this. He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's so lost.
There's so many things that I didn't know.
You learn a lot of things from the internet.
Yeah.
Poor Maine. We should have gotten the internet there like first.
Yeah, Moon Cricket sounds like some kind of AI story. Well, you know.
I mean, you could put that into an AI and see what happens, but
oh my god!
The Russian blue cat is so beautiful. You're right. Yeah, no, we're at racism max here. Yeah, we need to go because now we're gonna start making Russian cat jokes and we'll get the cat demographic pissed off. So,
oh no, Zeno! Oh,
the Nerdigans
jokes are they're gonna joke about you. Kitty.
Cover his ears.
Cider is racist adjacent. Yeah, I'm like the immigrant that grew up here. Like I don't know any of the slang or how you people insult each other or anything like that, you know. But I've been here the whole time. But Nerdigans, where do we find you after this episode that may or may not disappear when it's over?
You can find us all in prison. UK prison. Yeah.
You can find me on YouTube on Nerdigans Inc., where we cover anime and manga every day. Also on Patreon, patreon.com/PackerGirl, where we're covering anime. We're going to be covering Dragon Ball Daima. I'm going to attempt to cover Sakamoto Days. I don't know if I will survive that recording or not because it looks so bad. I'm going to be covering Toilet Bound Hanoko-kun and Red Ranger Isekai because, Spencer and I have a lot to talk about on Mondays now.
We do. But we're not ready. We're not ready to reveal yet. I don't have everything set up.
But yeah, so stay tuned for the
There you go.
Mondays open because we got good stuff coming. And then on Twitter, which is right next to my thing there, I am tweeting shenanigans. I'm also live tweeting my read of Tawaba on Monday, which was attacked by the UN a couple of years ago, which we did cover. And God, that manga is just beautiful. It really is. If you have not read it and you are into like ecchi and also beautiful women and just in general, go read Tawaba on Monday. You will definitely appreciate it. Also, I have articles up on Bounding covering topics we've covered here, like Takabi's Original Sin, and there's Crunchyroll's Crunchyroll Manga app, and the Ghost of Tsushima article that will be going up on the site soon because I just submitted them like earlier today. So. And also, Jacob, we're doing Pokemon Adventures soon, right?
Probably next week. So probably next week. I haven't confirmed it yet, but yeah, probably next week.
Yeah, so we're gonna restart covering Pokemon Adventures with Emerald and Fire Red and Leaf Green arcs when we come back with that.
So Sakura Mita wanted to show you some AI generated art, Nerdigans. She's transformed you into a
not muscular like. I'm not.
But
not transforming me into Gwen.
Well,
you're now a goth muscle mommy now. That's apparently the thing.
Yeah, that is Gwen. She is basically a goth muscle mommy.
I think you're getting cast as the next Batman.
Dude, you're
Nerdigans
the apocalypse.
Nerdigans quadriceps were literally snap in half if she ever went on that leg press machine.
I was gonna say less of a Terminator, more of a Saiyan. Like you're ready to fight in a tournament of power there. But
well, that's what's happening in Fortnite of the Apocalypse. Is there's like a tournament arc kind of thing, and we just saw Gwen go from lolly to muscle mommy in like an instant. That's the best way to describe it.
The Terminatrix. That's been a long time since I've heard that one. I don't think we're allowed to say that anymore.
Really
I don't know.
Gwen in her muscle form is.
I mean, with everything else we've said tonight, we might as well just go.
Yeah, I don't know. Can I? Well, we've said enough. Mommy milkers. But Spencer, where do we find you?
I can't wait for someone to like YouTube transcribe this. Like, did you really say Moon Cricket and Jew Rules in one show?
Well, and there are no good black people.
There are no good black people. I mean, it was a long pause. I didn't mean it like that.
Right. We'll just tell the
this show's gonna sound very, very bad out of context. I'm just saying.
We didn't. We'll just. That's what I'll retitle the show. We didn't mean it like that. When the show's over, I'll retitle the stream. We didn't mean it like that.
Cover our butts. Cover all our bases.
So, Spencer, if Keir Starmer doesn't appear in the night to whisk you off to the Tower of London, where do we find you?
It's okay. I'll just ask him to make an inquiry into everything that's going on, and he won't do it. So an inquiry. No, as always, guys, boundingintocomics.com for news every day, where we're getting back into the flow of things now that I am healthy. Check out the YouTube channel. Check out check out everything everybody has going on. Check out me if you want over on my channel, Kabuto Studios. And yeah, next one up. You can probably find me in prison next week.
Well, I happen to believe there are some good black people in the world.
unlike some editor-in-chief.
Like some people around here who may or may not have meant it like that. But
I actually like the Jungle Bunnies. Thank you very much. They're very nice people.
Very nice people. I like their music. My parents didn't.
I actually like them a lot. Thank you very much.
My best friends are Jungle Bunny. What are you talking about? So, Jacob, whatever, where do we find you? I can't say anymore. I'm just gonna be.
We're going to the hang.
Yeah, I got a bunch of articles I need to post, and Spencer can help me after the show is over get those out. So you'll see a bunch of lists that I've done for stuff that I've done on the Bounding site.
We got your best movies up, so that one is up right now. You guys go check it out. A lot of good movies. Or I was interested in.
If you're looking for good movies to watch, definitely go check that one out. And then this Saturday on the YouTube on Society Reviews, we'll be doing our worst movies of 2024 as we wrap up and retire the Friday Night Movie Club. Move on to a new show. That'll be on Saturday, Sunday.
From man to woman, woman to man.
Oh my God!
Amelia Perez, movie of the year.
Believe it or not, that movie's not even in my top 10. That's how bad this year's been. Yeah, it's bad. Sunday, depending if I still have power and the ability to stream, we'll be doing.
It's the apocalypse.
Exactly. We'll be doing a stream with Tiny. It will be part 2 of our discussion. You can check out part 1 from last week, and then we have the Bar Room on Tuesdays as well. And the 511 show, there's videos on YouTube. Go check them out. We got that going as well. So yeah, that's everywhere I'm at. So
no, yeah, that's a really good thing for us to hit. Jacob has started his new show. You guys, he's been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. The 511 show, where he tackles sort of the bigger film Hollywood topics from a more Christian lens, right? Is that the right term we want to use?
Yeah, it's pretty safe to wear.
Yeah. So from a more Christian lens, but not beating you over the head with it, just giving you, the straight talks about whatever topic he wants to choose that day. Check them out. We are uploading them as regular uploads right now, but if we hear good feedback, we'd love to expand it. So check it out, leave those comments, and that's part of what we've got cooking for 2025. More YouTube content for you guys. So we have Jacob's 511 show. What Nerdigans was talking about a couple seconds ago was she and I are working to do a weekly anime live stream where we can talk about all the weeby topics. Won't replace Tokyo Happy Hour, but just another supplemental sort of show. And yeah, I think that's what we got going in 2025. As long as we don't hire a Joy Taylor, I think we'll be okay. And yeah.
Yeah, that woman. Oh boy.
But, I just wanted to read just a quick little headline before Cider signs us off here. It says WWE superstars show support for California wildfires as devastation spreads. It's like, so are they rooting for the fire? Like,
yeah, I know. Like,
it's like you got guys
show support for the fire.
It's like you guys got to learn to frame your article headlines, people.
And with that, I'm not going to explain what the Bounding Battle Max is, but I'm going to play the music again as we leave. So good night, everybody.
Bounding Battle Max. Bounding Battle Max. Bounding Battle Max.
every challenge, climb every wall. Catch your breath, but never let it fall. Power and honor light up your way. Legends are born today. Run to the light, fight for the glory. Show them your might, write your own story. Run to the light, fight for the glory. This is the heart of the arena.
Founding battle max. Founding battle max. Founding battle max.